son, we're about to go. But of course you'll never know where the ship's gonna take you. But we all know this is the Shanon Show. This isn't a romantic podcast.
I don't know what I'm
the
talking about.
stories will never run out. Banana thoughts or some wet socks. Strap in tight, cause this is the Shanon Show.
Are you actually putting this on the podcast?
Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Shanon Show podcast. It is the 100th episode of the Shanon Show, and I cannot explain enough how incredible of a journey this has been. I'm here today with the one and only, the guest from episode 1. He's a legend. He's a Shanon Show legend. There's not much more I could say. We've been my best friend since Kubasaki days, and now here we are. We're recording a podcast in a basement.
Had to bring it back, right where it started, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like poetry. It rhymes, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
1 to 100. Here we are.
Yep, the two bookends of the Shanon Show podcast. You know, it's going to start with Johnny Hoppy, and unfortunately, guys, it's going to end with Johnny Hoppy. Which is, I mean, you can't end it any better, I would say. But it's, like I said, been one heck of a journey, and it is time to wrap it up. I really believe that. I don't even know where to start. This is a little more difficult than I thought it'd be. Before I talk about why I think it's time to wrap up the Shanon Show, I think it's important that we recap a little bit of what we've done here at the Shanon Show 100%. And how it's kind of transformed over the past. I mean, we started in late 2020, and it's now 2023.
2+ years, yeah.
Yeah, so over 2 years of, you know, doing the Best Military Kids podcast, running on the internet. So it's been kind of crazy. We started with Johnny Hoppy. We had a great first season. Later in the show, we're going through all the episodes, actually, so stick around for that.
Tierlists action.
Yeah, but there's a book with my name on it. Is that around? There's a book that stemmed from the podcast. I worked for a museum. Director Brady came on the show.
That was big. 50. 50 episodes ago, too.
50 episodes ago. That's crazy. We had just as many episodes since then as we did up until that point. We host an awards show for a podcast, which is kind of crazy to think about. The Shammy Awards. We've done 3 Shammy Awards. We've had 2 trials, which have been a lot of fun. One a lot more fun for me than the second one, that's for sure.
Getting into that too. Oh, man.
Panel of Preposterous. And more importantly, I've been able to reconnect with a lot of old friends on this show and meet so many new people. Yeah. I mean, from Blue Military.
Do you know what the percentages of how many people that you knew before? Have you ever looked at that?
I would say still most of the people I've had on I've known before, had some sort of connection before, just because it's easier to reach out that way. Sure. But like I said, I mean, Director Brady on the show, I mean, to go from nothing in episode 1 with you in my bedroom closet. Go from nothing to him on the show in 50 episodes. That was wild. And like I said, I've met so many people. The kids at Bloom Military Teens, so many authors in Athens. I can't even name them all off the top of my head. CRC at the Museum of the American Military Family, which really was a springboard, like I said, into the book and getting more people. Yeah, getting the connections, getting Brady on the show. So yeah, that's what's been most important to me. I mean, I've been able to sustain friendships and connections through the podcast. And I guess more than anything, Johnny, we've provided entertainment for the military kid community
100%.
That is really unique. It's very niche. It's very specific and tailored to kids who are in the military and grew up in the military. And I really do hope that I've made their transitions a little bit easier.
Right. And I think that the most recent, I'm sure you'll get to it eventually, but the most recent addition to your whole conglomerate of stuff, the memes have really been the ones that
I mean, it's been the next phase, big, right? Yeah, so the phase of the memes on the Instagram page.
This may be the first and last episode those memes ever watch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this might be it, right? The kids who came in from the memes. So yeah, I think we've made a mark here at the Shanon Show. I think we've made an impact, and that's nice to know. But at the same time, it is time to wrap it up because this isn't exactly. I don't know the best way to put this. It just hasn't taken the form that I expected, like the trajectory. While we've made an impact, at the same time, like it's not progressing at the rate that I had once hoped. Yeah. I mean, I remember when we first hit 100 subscribers, and I was like, 1K in no time. You know what I mean? I was ready for it. And well, the subscriber count is not everything. Like that does not dictate success necessarily. That does not dictate how many kids we've helped. but it is something that indicates, you know, the listenership.
Yeah.
It indicates how many people are watching each episode. And if I'm not getting the reach that I think is...
We were talking, what is it, like 13, probably the baseline?
I mean, yeah, you don't have to announce that to everybody.
It's 100, man. We might as well put it all out there at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to put so much effort. I mean, hours and hours that go into this. Like, whenever I'm running the show full time, I know it's been a minute since I've uploaded, but whenever I'm doing this weekly, I mean, like, so many hours of my week goes towards producing the show, you know, actually recording it, reaching out to people, thinking about how to type an email to reach out to somebody, the thumbnails, promoting it. Like, it's a lot of work. And for it to not, you don't get the rewarding satisfaction of the growth, which is really dissatisfying for me, which is part of why I think it's just time to wrap it up. I mean, I've put everything that I could into this, man. I really have. I mean, 100 episodes,
right?
100 episodes. Like, I sincerely think I've done everything I can to get this to become something bigger. And for whatever reason, whether it's me or the show or just the really small community I'm reaching, it just hasn't become that. Yeah. So it is what it is. We've made an impact. We've done a lot of great things, a lot of really funny things. But this is it. This is it. Yeah.
No better place to end it. Right here.
No, I mean, like, could you ask for anything more? Anything more? Right. It's been one hell of a ride. For this episode, for the 100th episode, we're doing something that Johnny's been asking me to do for a really long time.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Hot ones. He's like, yo, dude, we'll get wings. We'll ask each other questions. It'll be great. I'm gonna be honest, I already kind of got a runny nose, so this will get really ugly, man. This is gonna be rough for me.
We showing him? Got 2 jugs, yo.
Hey, man, I like your jugs. Dude, so we got some different wing sauces. We're gonna ask some hard hitting questions. I think our questions are going to be a little bit different. I already have a feeling about that. But we'll see how I handle the spice. We'll ask some Hot Ones questions, and we're going to go through every single episode of the Shan Show that's ever happened and rate all of them. And then,
we're rating this one at the end of it.
That'll be it.
There you go.
Yeah, we'll rate this one. Like, it was kind of mid. Yeah, it was like a C tier. But before we start that, Johnny, do you have anything to say about the journey so far? You've been such a big part of this. Like, honestly, man, you've been right there by my side. Every episode I put out, you're liking it, you're double tapping it, you're supporting it, which is great.
This is it right here. I think this is going to be the thing that is, you know, obviously, do we know how many sales total? I mean, again, it doesn't matter about the sales total.
No, over 200 books.
Over 200, right?
Which is,
and to know the different places that it's gone, this book is probably all over the world. Like, not literally all over the world. And the impact that I think it's had, I mean, obviously, as someone who was a part of it,
you're a
character. I've got a little bit of bias, but I think this will be the enduring legacy of the Shan Show. The amount of work you put into this is absolutely incredible. And in fact, if you want more,
this is official.
This is it right here.
A lot of pressure.
Do you mind signing my copy of the Shan Show? This might be the only signed on camera copy of DMT.
Does the peen work? Peen.
That's definitely
out of context. Out of context. Again,
100%.
Practice it. Oh boy,
you're looking great.
For Alex, for my sister, obviously.
Well put it in there, bro.
Oh my god.
You gotta do a whole thing. You can just sign it, and you can do the whole. We'll do messes later. There it is. There it is. Official.
That's crazy, man. Share my ugly ass signature with the whole world. There we go.
I can't beat it.
That's how we do it.
And that's what I mean. There's nothing better than that right there. I mean, the journey has been so incredible to see it to go and see you talk to so many different people. You know, obviously the old stories from Kubi is always fun, but I think that's going to be the biggest impact of what it's going to be.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, obviously, I'm always open to talking about the book and getting the book in the hands of more people, so I hope that continues to do well. Yeah. And obviously, I make some money on that, so I'm always open to selling more books, which is great.
We broke costumes. We need what we can get, right?
Yeah. Anything else? Once again, thanks again. I mean, you've been right there all the way.
Course,
I mean, no one else has been like that. George thinks he's like that. He's like, yo, I've been here since day one. I'm like, you're in and out. You're in and out. You decide.
I think we saw in the quiz in his episode. Yeah, exactly. He doesn't know, right?
He doesn't know. He doesn't know like you know. Like your investment into this. I mean, it's called the Shanon Show, but like people like you, man, who put like so much time and energy and thought into what I make in terms of content. I mean, that's what makes it.
I appreciate that.
Along with all the guests that I've had, and so yeah.
Thanks, man.
Best Monologue Kids podcast.
There you go.
Yeah.
We'll see who needs it more.
All right, come on. Let's already.
Okay. So first one, So we got to tell them what the freaking tiers are, right? Do you have them?
It's on the box.
Yeah. Well, they can barely see it. All right. So the first one. Actually, no. This is the first one here. This is beautiful. Medium. Okay, so obviously we want to have a little bit of spice for this first one. So it's gonna be medium, nothing too crazy. But if you've ever seen Hot Ones, which again, this is blatant rip off. But basically, you talk, you have progressively hotter wings as you tackle progressively deeper questions. Now, obviously, the questions aren't going to be that great, but if you saw my episode that we did way back, we didn't have Hot Ones that time, but I had some very banger questions. So hopefully, this will balance out. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so the first one is going to be medium. So we're going to break these out.
I just want to put this out here. Medium wings tend to kick my ass. Here we go, bro. This is the lowest level, and we're progressively getting spicier. And this is already a bad start. I'm a blue cheese guy. I'm going to use blue cheese. I might be down in some milk.
Napkins.
Am I eating the first wing?
No, you're eating the first one.
I'm eating the first one. Great.
That's what we're doing here.
Okay. All right. I want a drum. These aren't too bad. I'm kind of hungry anyways.
There you go.
Let's do it.
Okay. So here we go. As you put it in whenever you want. First thing I'm going to talk, because hopefully we still have some of the meme people here.
The meme people?
Yeah, the meme people. Because again, that's kind of what this is pretty much transitioning to, which there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's been the biggest influx of people, and you've been reaching out to people from Zama, from Humphrey, from what other schools?
I mean, I'm roasting them. I mean, Kinnick, Humphreys, Kadena, a lot of Kadena kids.
And it's been amazing to see. But first one, I got to ask, what comes first? The meme template or the caption idea? And you've been telling me, like, there's been times where you're awake at like 3 a.m. in the morning, you're like, dude, that's a great idea. I gotta do it. Take me through that.
Well, if anyone notices, I'm sure the kids who live overseas, they're like, does he live in Japan? I've had multiple people think I'm currently living in Okinawa. I'm like, no, I'm just up at 3 a.m. posting memes. Don't mind me. What comes first, the meme template or the caption? It depends.
Okay.
It really does depend. I have a list of notes on my phone of caption ideas where I'm waiting to find the template.
Right.
And I also have a bunch of templates where I'm waiting to think of the caption.
So it doesn't always cross over.
No, it is not one way or the other. Wait a minute.
Yeah, go. Get in there. How we looking?
Right in the mic too.
Right? little ASMR right there.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Get up and glad. How's that? Still good?
Fine.
Nothing crazy? Okay.
Oh, wait.
Take a little bit. No, you're good.
That's not going.
There you go. You think you'll be able to finish it?
Oh, God. Dude, this is hot.
Is it bad? Oh, dude, this is level 1. So we looked up.
Anyways, so I messed up how we do this. Anyway, let me talk more about memes.
Yeah, go ahead.
So anyways, this is much harder than I thought. You got the captions, and then you got the templates. I steal the templates. Mm-hmm. No one has to know that because I just announced it. They come with the music. Sometimes I add my own song.
Yeah.
But the memes are great. I love the memes. I love everyone who talks to me and reaches out because of the memes. Tells me they like the memes. Yeah. I am hungry, so I'm going to continue this. Great.
Yeah.
Great question.
What is it about the memes? God. There's a follow-up. Do you think that makes them so successful, especially for the kind of community that we're talking about?
Oh, there's nothing like them.
Yeah.
There's nothing like them. Like, all respect to Bloom, all respect to all the other military kid pages. I am actively trying to get canceled with every meme.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
You stopped censoring.
Yeah, I stopped censoring. Like, I'm going all out, and they're relatable. Yeah. And I think that I've always been. You remember back in Kubi? Mm-hmm. I made memes about very niche topics in the baseball team. Questionable things. So I have experience in this. I understand where it's relatable, and I lived through it. Like, we lived through these childhoods. So I know exactly what these kids are going through, and hopefully that's evidence of why they should buy the book, because they can realize, he makes relatable memes, maybe he has relatable advice.
There you go.
So that's that.
Okay.
I forget what the question was, but there you go.
That's the first one I got.
There we go. Okay, I'm gonna take another bite out of this guy. We're gonna edit this out. I'm just like eating dinner.
Like Kenny, right? All right. Start getting ready on my end here.
Yeah, get your wing ready. I'll get my question. I already got my question actually.
Okay. Actually, should we have like a box to put these freaking
bones in?
Yeah.
Bone box. Great. Okay, we'll put it down. Okay. I got cleaned off more than this, buddy.
Okay. He's going all in, boys. He's going all in.
The rest of them are not going to finish like this.
Okay. Let's start this off.
Would I care more about the podcast or eating dinner? We'll never know. Okay, Johnny Hoppy.
All right, here we go. So
you just raw dog all of them, huh? You don't get any ranch no
chance, bro. You just gotta go.
That's wild. Johnny Hoppy. Talk to me.
Yeah.
What is your go-to college meal? Give me your college experience, because I know you didn't go to. We're not the same year anymore. All right, so you went to college a little bit later because you joined the Marines.
Correct.
Went to Paris Island, went all the boot camp. You should check out the boot camp episode. Yeah. That was great.
Episode 29.
Yeah, fantastic. You know the number. That's also great. So talk to me a little bit about the college lifestyle. You're on campus. I know you've been doing it for a little bit now.
Yeah.
This isn't like the first thing, but we haven't really talked about you in college yet.
Yeah.
You go to college meals, maybe a little bit of the everyday routine for Jonny Hoppy as a scholar.
So it's really changed a lot because the first 2 semesters was pretty much all academic, right? I was just doing classes, getting out the gen eds, right? Hitting those out. So it was really interesting. First semester, it's really hard when you don't have a community. You know what I'm saying? Why are you giggling already?
No, it's just funny. Just like we're like eating and talking.
Hey, man.
Hopefully it's pleasurable for the people.
This is like one of the most popular things on the internet. So might as well rip it out, right? So the first semester I was living with my dad. This room that you see over here is a rental property. And it was really hard to really get in the know with people. Because I just come from about a year of military training. It does change you in ways that you don't even think about. So that took a while. Obviously, I was able to go on campus for my second semester. And if I say anything to those young, obviously, I know some colleges, like we were talking, like the freshmen have to be on campus. And it might seem like, oh man, I really want to go off campus and do whatever. But that community that you build, especially at a university like I'm at Liberty, it's incredible. And you really can't substitute that in any way. So I really do recommend, if you can live on campus, if you can afford it, to do that. So now it's pretty crazy though. I mean, I'm blessed to actually be flying airplanes now.
Yeah, that's a big deal now.
As part of my, freaking, hopefully my job one day, my career. So literally, while some kids are, out in the classroom, dying, I'm up in the air, literally in an airplane, about to land at the airport right outside the
awesome,
right outside the university. So it's pretty cool. In terms of my go-to meal, there's this place. I mean, am I talking like specific on Liberty or just
your go-to, like whenever you're like
I'm like I need
from
something.
A long day of flying Cessnas, you had to stall a few times on purpose. What are you cooking up? You got a microwave meal? You got something easy?
I'm going to Star Ginger. This is an Asian fusion place that has orange chicken and the freaking Vietnamese
Star Ginger.
Star Ginger, dude. Can't beat it. If you ever come on Liberty, you gotta have it, man.
Chowder is my Star Ginger.
Yeah,
he's great.
There you go.
Actually, not if his hair is black.
Oh man, can I get another one? Like, is this or?
Bro, we gotta move on. We'll eat after. What do you think? That's what I'm saying. I know. I was thinking the same thing. Whenever I was done, I'm like, wait a minute, that was actually pretty good.
There you go. Yeah. Anything else on that end?
That was my lob question. That was the easy one.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you encapsulate what you're doing.
Yeah.
Star Ginger.
There you go.
You're flying up in the air.
Yeah.
You're on the path, man.
There you go. Loving life, man.
Good stuff.
Second one is going to be Asian Zing. This was number 12, I believe. So basically, before we started this, we looked at the top 20 or all 25 of their flavors. Yeah. And they were ranked from hottest or they ranked from weakest to hottest, or however you say that. And Asian Zing, I think, was 12. Medium was like 16. Asian Zing is 12. So we're moving on up. But don't you worry, the end's gonna be really fun.
Fun for who?
Yeah, I'm gonna be the first one. Yeah. So here we go. Want to take that right there?
Yeah. Oh God, I can't decide. I'm a flats guy.
Get that. Let me pull out my question here.
Oh, smells like Asia.
Yeah.
Firsthand.
Who knows?
So stupid.
Okay.
Whoa!
What's up?
I gotta take a bite.
And
pull out a blue cheese.
Don't worry about it. Chomp. Okay. What type of content do you enjoy creating the most? Because you've really delved into a lot of different kinds. I mean, you've made a whole book, but you've also done memes. You've also done, a podcast, which I know we've talked about before. You just recommend people just don't do it, right?
Yeah.
But like, what is it? I mean, is it in terms of how much work you put into it and how much, reaction you get out of it? What is the thing that you enjoy creating the most?
First, this isn't hot at all.
Really?
No, we're in trouble.
Oh, no.
Yeah, this is okay. We'll have to call it mild ones.
Yeah, all right. We might have to flip these two then.
Yeah.
And then
what type of content do I enjoy creating the most?
Yeah.
I think it's the memes. I don't know, but the most satisfying is definitely the view from above videos.
Okay.
I wasn't going to mention them during this,
but I mean, you might as well.
There we go, yeah. You can find them at the SHANS.
There's what, 3 of them?
View from above. Yeah, you got the Can you wash his hands in a toilet?
Gotta love it.
The worst team in Zodea history.
Very funny.
Then you got Kubisaki's badass, Kristen Armstrong.
There you go.
And I make them on Google Earth. It's a very time-consuming process, but...
Is that the most, that for one video, that's the most time that you...
Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%. Easy. Yeah, it takes forever, but just because Google Earth, it's made for, like navigation and maybe Street View, not for video editing.
No.
So I really push it to its limits. But I got inspiration. That was all from smooth jazz and whatnot. It's great. It's really satisfying for me to put out that video. It feels high quality, and you can do so many different things. I think especially for military kids, because we're from all over the world, and I have the Earth to work with. it's fun. So yeah, I enjoy it.
Yeah, the possibilities are really out there, but I mean, we're not looking at any more though in the future.
I mean, sure. I mean, if I have the time over the summer, maybe we'll see. But it's also about the story. Like the ones I've done so far, I think are really compelling for that format of storytelling where you don't know what's going to happen next. You're trying to build up the anticipation. Yeah. And there's a lot of like funny moments. Exactly. like little stuff like that. Yeah. And so I have to have the story. So I don't know what story I would do next. I was thinking about doing a Mark Hamill.
Okay.
The working title was Red Devil Royalty.
Oh, okay. I like that. Take me through that. Oh, okay. Yeah, he was Kinnick.
He was Kinnick. So that was the working title. So if there would be an episode 4, that's what I'm leaning towards, but no guarantees.
So we're looking at possibly other content, just not the podcast. Going in the future.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm not going anywhere. Yeah, stick around on the Instagram page. You never know what I'll throw out there. But yeah, that would be my answer. Okay, grab yourself some Asians in.
Okay, let's do it. And you're saying not hot at all, man? That website lied to us. No shot.
We put a lot of faith in that list.
As you can tell, we're not professionals.
No.
All right. Asian music. It's good though.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, you like it?
I'm enjoying it.
Nice.
I'll definitely finish them up later.
All right. Yeah.
Is there more than 5 in there? Because I just took one.
Yeah, I guess it is. We bamboozled the system. We'll take it.
They hooked us up.
I'll take it. Here we go.
Did Bush do 9/11?
Are you for real?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Not spicy enough.
Yeah. But there's a little... I guess there's not
nothing.
Did Bush do 9/11? That is... Well... As a member of the armed forces, I cannot confirm
I put
nor
the
deny.
little disclaimer.
Make sure you put that in there. I mean, the thing, like for instance, I'm in a modern American military history survey class right now, and it's funny because we go up to I think 2013. So basically, what the professor says is that like the most recent years, it's so hard to accurately portray that because it's so recent. Right, and because there's
You're
so many
dancing around the subject.
I know I'm dancing around the subject. I'm just saying.
2013.
So yeah, that's
2001, September 11th. Don't get me wrong. We know what happened. You set off the explosives in the bottom of the tower.
I was a fetus, bro. Like, how am I supposed to know? I don't know, man. I mean, I've seen some really just incredible videos documenting just what the guys were doing, and I mean maybe it's all cover
conspiracy videos.
Right?
Yep. There you go.
I can't tell you for real, but there is. I mean, conspiracy theories are a thing for a reason, okay? Like, this isn't just, like, you don't just... Yeah. They're grabbing from something. It may not be all the truth, but there is a hint of something there. So I wouldn't be surprised if there were people within the government that knew what was going on.
There you go. That was a lot of bone,
oh, man.
Yeah, I think about it often is, on a more serious note about 9/11, obviously a horrendous travesty.
Yes,
it is strange.
New York, Philly never had no 9/11.
Philly?
Yeah, that's all New York, bro.
Well, what do you mean? Okay, like, congrats. I mean, Philly, bro, you see Rocky in some of those movies? He got his ass kicked.
Dude, y'all literally have a fictional boxer as your city's, like, mascot, bro. In no way.
Nothing wrong with that.
Anyway, keep going.
He's a great boxer. Where was I going with that? Yeah, so 9/11, like, it was kind of the catalyst for so many of our military kid lives. Like, so many parents joined because of that major event. And, yeah, I think about that often, just about, and all the deployments that our parents went on also drew all the way back to that. Yeah. So whenever you talk about the history of it, I think especially for military kids, it's even more significant because that's how our childhoods basically
so much of it was
the way they were. Yeah,
by what happened on that day.
Yeah, so that's always part of the history that I find interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy because I mean,
perspective.
My dad, he was reservist at that time. He was getting out. He was in Germany. My mom was pregnant with me, and if it wasn't for that, I know we'd never meet. I probably never would have gone to Japan. Who knows? I would have been. I've been speaking German. I would have never learned English. You know what I'm saying?
And if we never dropped Little Boy, then we would be...
Oh, and Hiroshima memes. Hiroshima memes. Pretty funny. Yeah, that's all I got, man. Your turn?
Okay, so we're going to Nashville?
Okay, hopefully.
Nashville, Tennessee's a fun place.
It is. I've never... You been? Yeah, you got family in that area?
No, not Nashville. Okay. They're in a different part of Tennessee, but...
I mean, hot is literally in the name. So if this doesn't do it, what are we even doing, man? Yeah. This might need to become a deleted scene.
This whole thing.
This whole thing. Hold that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my turn.
And we'll go for a drum.
Ooh, okay.
Drum? It's drums and flats, right? This is a drum.
I've never heard the term flats before.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm embarrassing myself. My wing terminology.
All right, here we go. These next two are similar. But
I gotta dunk it.
Yep.
Gotta dunk it. Gotta do
it's not really would you rather, but it's just like those kinds of questions.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
all right, ready?
Preposterous predicament.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can only live on one base for the rest of your life. You can't go off base. You are stuck on that base. Where are you going and why? First off, are you feeling that?
Not yet. We'll see.
Okay.
It's more of a drier rub than a sauce.
Buffalo playing us right
Wait. Okay, it's coming.
Yep. It's coming. You feeling back in your throat, or where's it at?
No, middle mouth. Middle mouth.
Yeah.
One base for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So I have to think of practicality.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You need some water first.
Water first.
Yep.
Here we go. Yeah, okay. One base for the rest of my life. You need a lot of different things. You need a lot of different things on there.
What you need on base?
Well, on base, you're going to want food.
Okay, yeah.
No, most bases have a
all the bases
commissary.
have the same stuff.
I mean,
right? They got the subway.
Yeah. You also want a lot of square footage.
Okay.
You want to be able to go to a lot of different places.
Sure. If you're stuck there for the rest of your life.
You want some space. You want some recreational facilities.
Mm-hmm.
One base for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm thinking not that I loved living there, but Quantico maybe because it's big. It's on the East Coast. I don't love Quantico.
That might be a hot
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. But because isn't the base surrounded by a town? So that actually is interesting. Isn't that how that works?
Is it surrounded by a town? It might be. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was wild. But I'm saying like if I'm on the East Coast, my family can see me more often. They'll come on the base and see me because I'm allowed to stay.
Sure.
But I can't go anywhere else, right?
Yeah. You're stuck on that base.
Gotcha. And they got the commissary, the exchange. It's kind of big. Recreation stuff.
Yeah.
I'll be fine. Won't be super fun. Virginia weather is aight.
Yeah. I'll take it.
I was thinking Okie.
Last night was
it's
pretty
just
crazy,
too far away.
Yeah.
It's just too far away. I don't think I would.
And you can't really experience any of the Japanese stuff because you're stuck on base.
No, and you couldn't do Foster's. It's not big enough. You'd go crazy.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You would have to pick Kadena. And fuck Kadena.
No dolphin noise needed.
Yeah. I don't know if I want another bite of this.
Come on. You gotta go for it.
I don't have much more to say. Is there a follow-up?
No, there isn't.
That's
That's it. Yeah. Okay.
So yeah. How about you tell me yours?
Mine? Oh shoot. It's gotta be. I remember you did it on the polls. Hawaii, Hickam Air Force Base, because Hickam is so it's just technicality. It's connected to Pearl Harbor, so I can go to 2 different bases at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
That might be a mistake. Yeah.
What do you mean?
Take another bite.
Oh yeah. Here we go. So I gotta go with Hawaii if y'all have ever been there.
That's cool. I like the idea of 2 different bases.
Yeah, and I mean it's beautiful.
It's beautiful there.
It's incredible.
But you're far away, man.
You are far away. That's
true.
How many beautiful weather though. 70 degrees all year long. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Get yourself some Nashville hot.
Yeah, let's do it. Do you have all these? You have them written down, or do you have them memorized, or what?
Oh, there's only 4, Johnny. What are we doing?
Oh man, it's the pregame. I haven't even had any more yet. I'm gonna try to go. Definitely not. All right, here we go. Nashville hot. Let's get
a bite in there. Mm-hmm. All right, I need you to rank the military branches by intelligence.
Okay. So again, this
your
is
honest opinion. Yeah.
It's gonna be biased.
Yeah.
All right. So
because let me preface this. There's a certain stigma surrounding the branch that you're a part of regarding your intelligence.
Yeah.
So I just want to put that out there.
That's crazy. Okay. I'm gonna put the disclaimer out here. I don't know anything about the Space Force. Okay. Literally came into existence 5-6 years ago. Never met anybody in the Space Force. I can't talk about. I mean, they're an off branch of the Air Force. They're probably smart, but again, I'm not gonna rank them. Man, it's crazy. Cause what have I interacted with? I've really only interacted with sailors, right, in the Navy.
Yeah.
And I've seen airmen. I haven't been able to interaction. It was actually interesting when we went to. I don't know if I told you, but in my final phase of training.
Sure.
You said this got you. No. Remember this way of but my final phase of training, literally the airmen would get hazard pay because they were living on a Marine Corps base.
Really?
Because it wasn't up to their standards.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like that kind of pettiness sometimes gets out of me. But obviously I know the Air Force, they get the most funding and they're the smart ones. So they probably got at the top of my list. Air Force goes top. And Navy, there's just such a wide range. You know what I'm saying? Like you got Top Gun, bro. You got Maverick, Pete Mitchell up in there in the air. You also got some people scrubbing the decks. You know what I'm saying?
You have to have both.
So there's just that wide range. And I think the Army is similar, so I really got to put them both. And I mean, like you said, Marine Corps is at the bottom. Like,
oh my God, are you serious?
It just is. It is what it is.
Self-proclaimed.
Some of the people that come through there, I'm just like, bro, how did you?
Really?
What are we doing? We're just assigning.
So where's that stem from? Did they have lower standards for entry? Is that it?
No, their standards are higher. That's what we're talking about, right? If we're talking physical standards, obviously, Marine Corps can be the top. But if we're talking about mental,
Wasn't there like an ASVAB
agility?
standard
Yeah,
that's lower.
Well, I mean, again, I can only talk about my field of work, right? It's like 74. This is nothing, bro. You're dying.
Bro, you gotta shoot and talk, bro.
Mm.
Dude, the audio only listeners are gonna get the craziest J-Hop ASMR of all time.
But yeah, I mean, there's some of the people I've gone through there, and it's like, why did they let you? Why did they let you go through boot camp? You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
Sure.
It goes Air Force. I'll go
Space
Navy,
Force,
Army.
benefit of the doubt.
Yeah,
in there?
Space Force is in there. I'll go Air Force, Navy, Army, Marine Corps, and Coast Guard doesn't exist. So.
Oh, I was gonna
Yeah.
be like, wait a minute.
Again,
Okay.
I can't talk about that. I don't know.
All right.
Okay, a little something.
Your spiciest question.
This is here. Oh yeah. That's right. Oh bro. Here we go. You might.
Will I die?
This is literally okay on there.
They also give us more than 5 again.
They did. They did not. How much did you pay? Well, like 30 something.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, we'll take it, right?
Yeah.
Well, maybe not this, but so literally on their thing, this is the highest ranked, hottest wings. We're not messing around here, okay? I know we haven't been getting. I mean, he felt that a little bit. I'm starting to get a little tingle, but like, we couldn't have gone any higher than this.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Now this prefaces, so if this doesn't get a crazy reaction, that's why, right? And then you want to grab that?
Yeah. Sure. Great.
Another leg.
In the lid.
And again, this isn't really a spicy question.
It's not a spicy question.
Well, it is. I
The
mean,
wings-
it's really just it's
I'm
reminiscent.
having this ready.
Yeah.
Can you actually crack the lid for
Yes,
me?
I got you. All right. You're going back in time.
We'll set it down there, and then after I take a bite, we'll see where that goes. Hopefully, I don't spill the milk.
Here we
I
go.
wouldn't cry about it
Dude.
though.
Yeah, definitely get a napkin here.
Dip.
Dude, we did run through those napkins really quick. Was that all of them?
That's what I was telling you, man.
Oh,
Well,
jeez.
mostly me.
Okay. All right. You're going back in time.
Wait. I gotta dip first. I gotta
Okay.
dip.
Okay.
Okay.
You ready for this?
Should I eat
Dude,
first?
this is take a nice chomp. You're going back in time. Okay.
Mhm.
And you're talking to a young Shannon. You can choose whether it's high school Shannon, it's old Shannon, okay? And you tell him what you've been able to do. Right, what you've done with the show and all that. Would you tell him to do anything different? What do you think his reaction would be? And would you tell him to do anything different?
Holy crap!
Yeah?
This is
This is
good. This is good.
You went to the milk.
Young Shan,
Young
will
Shannon.
you do anything different?
Yeah.
Holy crap, John! John, no, this is hot.
Yeah?
Man, this is hot.
Okay.
Young Shan, don't meet Johnny Hoppy.
No, wow, that's crazy. Okay.
Yeah, no.
I see how it is.
Holy, dude! What the fuck is in this shit?
Hey, we have an hour and a half left, bro.
Dude.
This...
Don't start the shit. I can't even think straight right now. Like, I wish I gave you a good answer.
Oh, man.
I don't know. Like,
what do you think his
Okay,
reaction
whenever
would be?
you move. Whoa, his reaction
Yeah.
or advice?
Yeah, both of them.
Advice is, whenever you move somewhere new,
Yeah.
always look to make friends. Don't be like sulking over
Okay.
not leaving your past friends. Like
Yeah.
always be looking, moving forward, trying to improve, improving yourself, setting
Yeah.
goals that are long
Yeah.
term, not
Look at
just
that.
dependent
feel
on
that.
your
Just
location.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Just keep going. I like
That's
that.
really
I like
good.
that.
That's good shit.
That's it.
Because I didn't always do that.
Right.
Sometimes you move and you're like,
Yeah.
man, my life's so hard.
need some
I
more,
don't
or
need
can I
it."
close?
No, I'm keeping it open. What the hell's wrong with you? What was it,
man.
advice or?
What do you think his reaction would be when he's like, bro, do you think he would have thought this is something I would have done one day?
He was like, the book probably sucks.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I'm always like very critical of myself. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming I would also be critical of my future self.
Right.
He'd probably be a little surprised. He would be really happy to know the Shan Show made it to 100 episodes.
There you go.
Because when I started the Shan Show, I was like, I wonder how long this will last.
Yeah.
I really didn't want it to flame out. Sorry, I'm stealing all the napkins.
No, you're good.
Dog, okay, your turn.
Go.
Dog.
Okay.
Eat
okay.
one, dog.
All
I
right,
can't.
I'm gonna put this down. Here we go. That was your reaction.
I'm not cut out for this.
Yeah.
I'm not cut out for this.
Well, he's a man of his word. He is
Yeah,
a
I
man
did
of
it.
his word.
And we'll be having no more of
Blazing,
those.
hottest one. We go. Let's take the last one here. Would you take a drum?
Yeah.
3, 2,
Yeah.
1, let's go.
Gay son or thought daughter?
On the show, bro. No shot. Oh man.
I just ate the hot wing, which I'm still feeling the effects
Yeah.
of. But my phone got an Amber Alert, so it stopped. It stopped recording.
Yeah.
So Johnny,
I've already eaten.
he's already
half of this.
ate a bite, but you
And,
guys didn't hear what he said.
no.
No, you didn't hear my question. So he has to eat another bite. So this is you really taking one for the
okay,
team.
yeah.
New wing.
New wing? I can't get the back
Alright,
end
fair
of the
enough,
same
fair
wing.
enough.
Come on, man.
But
Oh man. Why?
all right. So the question,
Yeah.
Johnny, would you rather have a gay son or a daughter who is a thought / hoe / sleeps with a ton of men.
Wow. Well, somewhere out there is a deleted scene of what my actual opinion is.
Second chance at this.
Yeah. So you kind of make a good. She's getting ridden a lot, and or she's riding a lot. And yeah, that's tough because as a female, obviously natural biology. There's a chance she gets pregnant, right?
Right, and then
there's all that you gotta deal with.
Have a good mom,
so now that I'm thinking of that,
dad that doesn't around.
And a great point that you brought up because we talked about this earlier.
Yeah.
As a gay son, doesn't necessarily mean he's good at being gay.
Right.
Right. I mean, he could just be not getting any action, and then it's kind of like whatever.
And then you're just passively gay.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess at the end of the day, this is official answer. I'll
official
take
180.
There we go.
Crazy how that works.
Oh man. Okay. Yeah.
Dude.
I'm just going watch. Wow. So there we go.
Hot, right?
Yeah. That one was
right.
So the
it
levels.
Took off.
Yeah.
Levels are not appropriate.
That's like, oh man. Wow.
See, guys, not even a stolen child can stop a SHANS show from getting to you.
Oh man. I'm thankful for that stolen child, though.
Oh boy. SHANS show out of context. So we're gonna be tier ranking / tier listing every single episode of the SHANS show. All 99 of them. Don't know if anyone cares as much as we do about this. Almost definitely not.
Mostly for us, yeah.
But if you want to see what I thought about an episode that you were in, or you want to see what Jonny thought about an episode you were in, or if you just want to see how I reflect back on all the episodes I've ever done, I don't know how long this is going to take, but yeah, so our S tier is going to be divine. I mean, just a beautifully well done SHANS show, perfectly crafted. Yep. You have a little bit of everything.
You were ready, they were ready.
I was ready, I brought the energy,
merging.
They brought the energy, everything from start to finish. Real quality production. And then we have our A tier, which is chamois worthy. Yeah. So these are the type of episodes that should be recognized. They could definitely bring home a chamois. Maybe not the main chamois, maybe not episode of the year, but you got a best boot camp episode, something like that, which I well, not necessarily. Best content creator guest, like that sort of category maybe would work out for that tier. And the next is good stuff. Yeah, our B tier. Just
solid
good stuff.
This is solid.
Just like I refreshed. It's a Sunday morning, another SHANS show. Yeah. It wasn't the best I've ever heard. It also didn't bore me to death. It was good stuff. It was great. Next is mid. And everyone knows whenever you say mid, you kind of mean a little less than mid. If we're being honest, that's our C tier.
Yeah. Hopefully not too many of those, right?
Hopefully not too many mid. Also, this is a reflection on me. So if anyone takes offense, remember, I make the show. Right. I'm the guest. So all the mid and less than mid episodes are really my fault.
Right. Just because the guest doesn't bring it, it doesn't mean you couldn't.
Yeah, exactly. I could have broken them out of their shell a little bit better. I could have asked some better questions. I could have been better prepared. Maybe I was up too late that night. All sorts of different reasons and excuses that I'll give myself. And then next is Trainwreck. So this should only be a select few episodes where things were very clearly from the start not great. Maybe you clicked on this and you're like, oh, hell no. And then you didn't watch it. Or maybe you saw just from the thumbnail, oh my God, I'm not interested. Yeah, one earbud, backwards microphone, guest doesn't know what's going on, all sorts of stuff. And so Jonny, you're taking this from the perspective of the guy who receives it on the YouTube channel for the most part. It just pops up in your feed. I'm receiving it as the guy who has lived it, organized it, interacted with this person outside of the show. Right. Yeah, all that. So let's get into it. Let's do it, man. Okay. Let's do it. I think we all know where it starts.
Yeah, 100 episodes, and of course, this started in August of 2020 with episode 1. And honestly, I don't know what we can say that hasn't already been said about the very beginning of this. I mean, just the idea of you texting me just one random day, like, hey, yo, you want to do a podcast, man? Now, again, I wasn't the first pick. That'll always go down. That'll be SHANS show lore right there. For whatever reason, that's fine. I'll never be salty for that. But you know what? What we were able to do, I was actually in the attic of this house at that point. Yeah. And again, we've also talked about this. The original cut of that is pretty interesting. There's some tier lists, which we're doing right now, about some things that probably wouldn't, again, there's an alternate universe where we just let that original episode air. And I don't know if we're doing this right now.
I would say no.
It is. Yeah, definitely not. But yeah, what we ended up doing, I think was, you've said it before, the kind of content that was in that episode could be great in episode 1. It could be great in episode 70.
It doesn't matter where it is. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And once again, I appreciate you for taking that chance. I know you're just the kind of guy who's up for anything. Right. I mean, hopping on the internet one day with a guy who's never produced a podcast before and putting yourself out there like that. It's a little intimidating. We did have to do some reshoots. Yep. But so many good films go through reshoots. Yeah, it's totally normal. We didn't know what we were doing, so we reshot some things. I was recording on Skype. I go back and look. I was using this really cheap, $15 microphone. I was doing it in my closet. Yeah, it was sincere.
Mm-hmm.
It was a great episode, man.
And I give that an A. So that's what Shammy worthy. That is a Shammy.
Wow.
I don't think it's divine. I think we could have done a couple things here and there. Maybe some of the obviously he was just starting, so it is what it is. But editing around some of the stuff that I was saying was kind of weird. So that's fine. But I think that is a Shammy worthy episode, but it's not the peak, the pinnacle of what a great Shannon show episode is. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
I totally get that.
Yeah.
Can I get your pencil?
Yeah.
I don't know where mine went. I keep on losing the same pencil. Quite remarkable. So I'm using Johnny's old school. Here we go. What have I done? Anyway, so you're putting a Shammy worthy. So we're letting you rank the first one. I guess so. I would say...
Well, no, yeah, so we're going back and forth, right?
Yeah, you start. I'll do the next one. All right. So, Shammy worthy. Episode 1.
Yep.
I like that. I would have put it in divine, personally.
Okay.
I think that it's as complete as it gets.
Wow.
I mean, it kind of also just historically, it set the template moving forward.
It
did. So many great episodes kind of followed that, talking about stories from
Mm-hmm.
Okinawa, reminiscing,
right.
And also
getting
extracting
to know
lessons
more about
from
the guests
them.
first,
right?
Mm-hmm.
And you shared a lot of your story in that one, which was also great. And extracting lessons from memorable stories was a fun time. There was laughing. There was more sincere moments.
Yeah.
It was great. We were both very animated.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Yeah,
So
it was a fun time.
Yeah, but if you think there's better out there,
yeah,
then,
I think there is.
I believe you.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So that's
Episode 2.
Episode 2. So you going away with this or what? Oh yeah. That's right.
Episode 2. Not that I don't remember what episode 2 is. Yeah. So I'll take episode 2.
Yeah, he would have been mad at that.
We'll alternate. I don't think there's time if for both of us to give our whole spiel on both. But yeah, episode 2 obviously was George Glover. And then we also had Owen Singley join us for a little bit on the Gents Hotline.
There you go.
Yeah, can't forget the Gents Hotline. This was a very good episode. I remember George he brought the heat. He was very open.
Yeah.
He talked about a lot of things about his journey to Okinawa, which was very unique as well. And I have a ton of respect for what he's gone through and his path so far. So it was really cool hearing more of that. And I mean, he brought the setup. I can see
look at him.
He had the mic, he had the headphones. He brought the energy.
Yeah.
We're still really early in the production.
Yeah.
He had video on there, unlike yours.
Yeah, that's
I didn't know how to
that's
do
right.
that the week before.
That's right.
But he was great. And then we talked about the Downey.
Yeah, the Thailand. That's why I have down here. The Thailand story. That's always gonna be timeless. That was just incredible. And one thing I will say, I think some of George's later episodes, he does get a little bit more comfortable in front of the mic. So that's why, I mean, again, it's going to be based off yours, but that's why mine, it's a little lower than some of his other ones. But again, that's still, and then bringing in Owen like that and just having that story was just incredible.
Bringing in Owen was great. I would say that the only thing that I dislike about that is probably on my end.
Okay.
I think that obviously I wasn't as refined speaking wise, and also I don't know what the hell my camera angle was in that. It's just like above and from the side.
It's like a profile,
It's very strange. It was a weird way. I didn't know what I was doing, but I'm gonna put good stuff.
Okay.
I'm gonna put good stuff.
Yeah,
it didn't win a Shammy, but it followed the template of yours. It continued the show.
It's not like there was a huge drop off somehow. Yeah.
So
we kept it going. Episode 2.
Good stuff.
Here we go. So the thing about us going back and forth. There's some episodes.
Sure.
Okay, I'll admit I'm probably the person that I've seen the most Chance. I don't think that's a disputable fact.
Honestly, unless there's someone out there.
Yeah, let us know. Please, let us know. Do the timestamps for this too.
They know more than us. They're they know every minute. No, that was actually episode 14.
Yeah. Please, and then put the timestamps in there. That'll help. So I'll be honest, I didn't watch Carolina's first episode as much. I saw the clips though. I saw the clips, which I think it was a Which is Weirder.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting in that point in time. I do appreciate this was the first time that we had someone calling from their car. So that was interesting, because she was like, okay, she was committed. She was like, okay, I told him I was gonna do this, and it doesn't matter where I'm at, I'm still gonna do it. So that's cool. It adds a different element, and that's always interesting. Right? We have some later ones that are similar to that too.
Sure.
So I enjoyed it, but again, I don't think I'm the best person to rank
this?
it because
okay, then,
I didn't see as
all
much.
I'll take this one then if you'd like. Whoops, what is wrong with me?
All good.
I am autistic. Out of context. So Carolina in this one, she did have some connection issues early on.
Okay.
Joining from her car, naturally that's going to happen.
Sure.
But she brought the energy. Obviously, this is a little bit different because for you and George, I really focused on your guys' stories.
Yeah.
Because I think they were both very unique and made for great
enough
podcasts.
content on its own.
Carolina was the first one to ask me to come on the show, and I said yes.
Interesting.
So that is a little behind
that
the
was
scenes.
early, yeah.
But Carolina's great. I mean, she speaks well. She's funny for a woman.
Oh, you get that video? That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm just saying. No,
that's crazy.
No, she was good. I did I had to come up with some very unique segments.
That's right.
I did
that's the first time you had to do that, right?
Carolina. Yeah. So
because the first two was just kind of conversations.
Yeah, it was just conversations. So it was the first time where I had to have things planned. Also weird camera angle. Didn't know what I was doing. Very, very weird to look at. I'm stuck between, I'll call it good stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm leaning towards good stuff for a lot of these just because I have so much respect for the people who came on in the very early days.
Yeah.
Sorry, we have so many to get through. And I'm like talking this much length. Hopefully I speed it up. But the people who came on in like those first 2 seasons, man, I cannot thank you guys enough because like I didn't know what I was doing. It was probably pretty clear at some points I didn't know what I was doing, but you gave me a shot, and a lot of those people I had them come back on.
Yeah.
So that's
good stuff.
Good stuff.
Number
We'll
3?
give Carolina good stuff so she doesn't kill me.
Episode 4. So Shanon went from 3 of his high school friends, basically. And then he said, closest, there's something, he obviously, if you don't know, I mean, you probably don't know the lore, but he's a big Sixers fan, right?
Yes.
So in 2020, right around after the playoffs, NBA coach Brett Brown was in the hot seat.
He was in the hot seat.
Because y'all had gotten swept, correct?
Yes, got swept by Boston.
So in the middle of what is probably, I mean, if you look up Brett Brown, this is probably one of the top things that comes up in the news searches. Shanon, you reach out to him, right? Yeah. And so I mean, it was just absolutely incredible how you were able in just the 4th episode to get an NBA coach, and then to get him multiple times after that.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that too. Yeah. It's incredible, and I mean, and again, it was short but sweet. You asked the right questions. What do I have down here? And I just think it's really for you to go in that from a Kubi person to someone like that. So quickly, so incredibly.
Like that,
I think that puts it in the divine tier.
Yeah, all right, so let's peel back the curtain just a little bit. So that was the first episode. Those first 3 episodes were filmed in my bedroom at home,
right?
Like towards the end of the pandemic. Not towards the end, during the pandemic, essentially, those first 3. I go to Penn State between episodes 3 and 4. So that's the first one in my dorm room. Yeah. So that's taking place in my dorm room at Penn State, which I had no setup. Yeah. Like I have a picture of the setup. It was incredibly janky. It was probably the worst one of all time.
Really? Okay.
And I didn't have a guest for that week. Yeah. I was panicking. I didn't know what I was going to do. And at the very last minute, I reached out to the Sixers head coach, Brett Brown. There you go. I sent him a message on Twitter, and he got back to me. I thought he was in the hot seat. I didn't think he'd be in the mood. But I think he has a lot of respect for the military community, and unfortunately, he wasn't able to get his video working on the interview. Yeah. So that's the only thing. Later on, he joins us in person on those one of our episodes. So that is great. But what did you rank it?
I had an S. I had a divine tier.
You had a divine?
Is a divine guest first and foremost. And I mean, there's nothing better than that, man.
That's better than episode 1. That's crazy. Brett Brown, divine.
Okay, all right. So you're getting 5 then, right?
This is me. All right, episode 5. We do need to speed up just a little bit. Sure. All right, Eric Gansey, Adam Garlick, and Cade the Shaft Schaffner. Great episode, man. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Obviously, there was some issues with my video again. I had my video popping up whenever I talked on the Zoom, and then also it was always up on the GoPro or something. Like it was incredibly not great. But these 3 gentlemen, man, they brought it. Yeah. They brought high energy. We told some great stories. Adam in particular was hilarious on this. I loved Adam in this episode. I can't say too much. Once again, following the formula, following the Okinawa stories, talking about Kubi baseball. That was the first one that was really getting to Kubi baseball a little more so than ours. Yeah. And I enjoyed every second of doing that. I'm gonna put that in Shammy worthy, which I think it did win a Shammy. Okay, so
there you go. That's right. That's right. For the best group, I think it was. Right? Yeah. Okay, episode 6. Now again, even though this is one that I didn't watch a lot of, the significance of this episode cannot be understated, right? Yeah. So this is Dr. Cersei Olsen Westner. Yeah. And this is basically your main contact through the Dodea kind of world, right? So take me kind of through that.
Well, she was everything for me moving forward. So I reached out to her. They had this thing she works in the Museum of the American Military Family. It's based out of New Mexico. Yeah. So I sent her an email. I was asking if I could get one of they have these foot lockers for military kids. That has all sorts of like cool like artifacts from like military kid history and all sorts of different items that people put in there, military families put in there, and then they send it to the next person. So I was looking to receive one of those in my dorm, and that didn't end up happening because it cost like $60 to ship a foot locker that big. I was like, no, that's fine. But she's like, hey, I'll come on your show and give you a virtual tour of the museum and talk about the Foot Locker.
That's pretty cool.
And and it was great. Yeah. It wasn't until the next year that she offered me a full-time.
Okay. Oh, I didn't realize that there was a
there was a gap. There was a good gap there where she offered me to be the student liaison of the museum, where I then had all sorts of responsibilities from running their Instagram to.
Are you still there, or have you?
No,
I
ended? Stopped. Okay. Yeah, I'm no longer in that position, but. That led to a lot of different episodes, and she was a guide for me. She legit going into the Director Brady one, which we'll get to. She said, "Look at the Dodea like corporate ladder. pick one.
Pick one, yeah.
She said, pick one.
Yeah.
Is like, is there anyone? Because she had a
Immediately.
contact, Mr. Franco Guerra there, who said he'd be able to help me get one of them on the pod. And I said, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to go for the top. So I was like, is Director Brady possible? And the fact that she was able to get him on the show, and then she was there with me, it was just really cool. And then obviously I wrote the book in collaboration with the museum. So she also put that in my head, and she pushed me throughout that entire process. So yeah, starting all the way back in episode 6, she was absolutely amazing for me.
And incredible grab,
yeah, and then even her dad later on came on the show, which was really neat. So
so I think I gave it a solid, I think I gave it an A tier.
Sure, worthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of the significance.
Because of significance. More, I mean, again, I
Yeah.
can't really talk about the episode itself, but yeah, I think just in how much it worked. So
let's knock out
Okay.
Ari here.
episode 7. So I guess you
Knock
kind of
out
talked
Ari here. That sounds yeah.
So episode 7, I guess since you kind of talked more, I'll talk about this one. This was one of the ones that we were really hyped about. Ari, if you don't, as you know, someone who you know, if you went to Kubasaki, you know, she is the hype man.
Yeah.
Right. This is what she's known at, and she brought the energy. She did. It didn't end up. I know we were kind of big into the views at that point, and it didn't really reach what we had wanted at that point. And I think was that kind of one of the ones where you realized like that's not really what it's all about, or was it a little later where that came about?
I think a little bit later where I started getting concerned about the views dropping.
Yeah.
But I mean, Ari's fantastic. She's one of the people that's probably one of my biggest regrets is I didn't get her back on the show. And I always talked about it as like, man, I really should have reached out again. I don't have as good a relationship with her as I have with some of the other guests. But yeah, she was great. She tons of energy. Talked about her story. Talked about being a Kubi. It was great, man. So much respect to Ari, and you know she's playing rugby and stuff.
There you go. Yeah,
really
that's right. I've seen her. Yeah. I personally I have it in good stuff. I think that's solid. But again, you know, probably not top tier there.
Fair enough.
Good job. Okay.
All right.
There we go.
I'm glad we talk about this one. Episode 8 with Sammy Williamson, the Judgment Day episode. This one's infamous, man. They got a lot of stuff in there, a lot of good stuff. This is basically just like a Kubi gossip session. I mean, there's no better way to say it.
We talk 36 minutes.
Yeah, we talk about everything, man. We talk about everything that happened to Kubi. It's very niche, I guess. I guess you had to know us in high school to really appreciate this episode to the fullest.
Well, 271 people obviously cared.
Oh my God, I didn't know it was that much. Yeah, I mean that was the one because I remember I was a little worried going into it because I'm like I talked about so much stuff with Jonny. So is George. Do I have enough to make an episode here? Oh boy, did we have enough. Sammy, man, he was shot out of a cannon coming into that one. He was ready, and he doesn't hold back. He doesn't mince words. He says what he feels, and I love it. And then I took advantage of that later in another episode as well, much later. He was great. I mean, this was everything. Not morally, probably wasn't. We probably said some things that weren't the nicest. Probably said some things that people heard that came back and bit me sometimes. Got all sorts of things were said, but I highly recommend watching it. We talked about like the rusty bug in there at the end, and looking for moms on Camp Foster. It was great. This is divine. For me.
100%. I cannot argue with that. Okay, episode 9. This is another really solid one with Michaela. The one I remember about this most is just so basically the way that I kind of think of these episodes is the year in review videos, right?
Yes,
those are big. Those are big.
Encapsulate
those encapsulate kind of the biggest parts. And so I think one of the things she said, she was talking about Tokyo, and I'm trying to remember what the context was, but like was it with the way they drive there, and it's like this isn't Tokyo Drift. Like what are we talking about here, right? So I mean, she was just another one that just again, this is another solid person that we knew from back in the day that just really had a lot of cool things to say.
Yeah, I mean, you said everything right there. I mean, she came on, once again, all these people, a lot of energy. She was excited to be a part of it, which I really respect. And I absolutely love that she came on. It was kind of funny that she came on right after Sammy. I think Sammy had something to say about that, but obviously that's in the past. So that was a little amusing. But I remember I was nervous reaching out to her because like another person I didn't have a great relationship with after high school. We didn't talk a lot or at all for that matter. And I reached out and she was totally willing. She came right on the show and yeah, I mean, she was just pulling up her Crocs. Like, she's one of those people. And even back in high school, I knew she's a really great speaker, like really good at communicating. She's funny. It was a lot of fun. Is this one's you?
This one's you.
I ranked Sammy's.
That's right. Okay. Yeah, this is A tier then for me.
A tier. All right. We're filling up the chamois worthy.
There you go. I'm going to help
great.
All right. So 10.
Gracie, man. So Gracie, she's the... not the oldest friend I have, but the friend that goes the furthest back. You know, like she's not like 98 years old. So I've known her since 4th grade actually, and we became really good friends in like 4th, 5th, 6th grade, and I still talk to her all the time. She's like getting drunk and shit, and like sending me voice memos about her days. Yeah, it's great. But yeah, she agreed to come on the show. I didn't love how the episode turned out. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think with the first 9, I think this was a little bit I could have done a lot more. Her dad actually did a lot of really cool things that were military related that I didn't know enough about, so I was kind of scared to ask about it.
Okay. Did you rectify that in the later one?
I don't think so.
Okay, nice.
No, so I don't even learn from my mistake. But the later one was a much different energy. I think I had better questions in general, and I think this is where, I mean, my lighting sucked. Like I wasn't happy with the way this was produced. So a lot of it is on me. It's not on her at all because she has plenty of stuff to say, and she's very open and she's great. I think her hurricane story in there is actually really good. About when her house flooded during Hurricane Florence. I forget what it was. So this is not on her, but I think I should have done a lot better. I'm gonna put this in mid, unfortunately.
Mid too, yeah, that's right. The one thing I remember about this, because this is the last one that came out before I left for boot camp that year, and there's those romance questions. I remember asking you, like, did you actually ask me about this? It's like, no, they're totally BS. I came up with it. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, I did bring those back. I did, because she's given me a lot of relationship advice over the years, so that's where that stemmed from.
Here we go. Episode 11. I got Andrew Barnes. So again, I left for boot camp after episode 10, right? So I was like, okay, I mean, that was good. And I really didn't know what to expect coming back. And I came back, and I think you were at, like, episode 25. I was like, yo, this guy just keeps putting out the work. So I think the first one I did watch was The Trial of George Glover, but the second one I had to do Andrew Barnes, right? Because, and just, I don't know if it's in the thumbnail here or in the actual, I don't think you even had the descriptions back then, but it was the tour on the Jumbotron, and just that whole story of how all that came about. And Chunk, I mean, he's always, you know, we just talked about it. He's always got different hairstyle every time we see him. Like he just brings that different energy, and I absolutely adored that one. Going back, I think on one of my drives back down, I think I actually listened to that one because I was like, that's one I gotta listen to again. So that's an easy A. And honestly, if you
I would
put it as
I would put it as divine. But
okay,
this is your ranking.
All right, I'll put it at A then. But I'll put it at chamois worthy. But
fair enough.
I can understand. I can totally understand.
I would put this divine. Andrew is one of the funniest people I know, hands down. Like that man is hilarious. Yeah. If he's not sleepy, then he is absolutely locked in. And that episode, he brought it. Like all I have to do is like just throw him a prompt, and he'll go on like just an epic, like little tirade or monologue, whatever you want to call it. And he brings it, man. He's awesome. I absolutely love doing that one, and I thought it was a great bounce back. Production was a little bit better if I look. Yeah, a little bit better. I was rocking the Taco Bell shirt again from episode 1, so that was great. I was really happy to have him on, and he did not disappoint. All that Korean baseball stadium stuff. I mean, those are just the best.
There you go, episode 11. Okay, episode 12. You got it, Connor and Martin.
Connor and Martin, man, these two guys are class acts. You know, these are two guys who I really did not know that well at Kubi. And they started their own podcast. It was called Gen 3 or something. Didn't last. Doesn't matter.
Did they reach out to you or?
I don't remember, honestly. I may have reached out to them. I saw they had a podcast, and I wanted to talk to them. And
obviously, Richard Thickness, too. But.
Yeah, Richard Thickness as well. I mean, these two guys had much nicer microphones than I did. I mean, these guys were professional quality. They knew what they were doing. And both really great speakers. Martin was hilarious. I didn't know Martin at all, really. And Connor was also really funny, and he's really passionate, and he's doing some really cool stuff now on his mission trip, which we'll get into later, I'm sure. But, I love this episode. I keep on saying they brought it.
I mean, there's no real better way
specifics.
to...
I mean, it was... I think this is like a sleeper episode. I think that people may not think this one is as good as it is. But this one, man, it was really a whole lot of fun. What people might not know is we recorded the entire thing first.
That's right.
And then Skype didn't save the video. This one I was still using Skype for some reason.
Oh, man.
And we had to record the whole thing again. So if you go back and listen to that with that in mind, it's amazing how enthusiastic they still were.
Do you think it was better the second time around? I mean,
100%.
Because you had the opportunity?
I don't remember the first one. Obviously, this helps me remember a whole lot. And then Connor with like his North Korean flag in the background or whatever he had. I mean, these guys, they were hilarious. And just like getting to know their personalities while also doing the podcast is one of the most fun things.
And they came back and
they came back. Dude, they bring it. And they love being on the Shanon show too. Like I remember, I don't know if it was this one or the next one they were on. Like I ran out of questions and they're like, we're not even close to done yet.
Like hold up.
We're still cooking. Like we'll keep on talking. And I think they wanted to be the first one that was over an hour. I think that's what they were talking about. Really and I just cut them off. But they were fantastic.
Okay, what'd you bring that one?
Somewhere between good stuff and share. I'm gonna go good stuff. Maybe if I watched it again, but it was still early. I really did enjoy that one.
For 13, I'm gonna let you because I don't think I really don't think I am the one to talk about this.
Just about Halloween's in general.
I mean, again, this is another trilogy here that's called Common Theme that you know about the Shanon show, and I mean you can just see. And honestly, I think this is one thing I wrote down. you need to do yourself a favor and look up the deleted scene of what was supposed to be the original episode 2, because that's what this ended up becoming the full thing. But that is one of the funniest things. I go back to that sometimes just to feel something. I mean, it's so funny. Oh Kenny and Garrett and Shanon, those three, just the dynamic that those three have.
It's incredible.
And, and I mean, you take it away. Again, I can't really do justice for this, man.
Yeah, I mean, just the three of us, like we have such a, I don't know what it is about it. We started becoming like really close in Okinawa through tennis, and we were around each other all the time. Like we were like on the weekends we'd play tennis for like 5-6 hours a day, and then during this weekdays we had tennis after practice, and we had a few classes together too. And the dynamic between the three of us is just perfect for a podcast. It really is. Between making fun of Kenny to like Garrett saying stupid stuff constantly, and I don't know, man. Like we had some great stories. It's about Kenny meeting Mia Khalifa in Las Vegas when he was like 8 years old. Kenny washing his hands in a toilet. We had Garrett, always his background is Kenny with him like holding his calculator in the yearbook. I mean, if you just want like some banter with the boys, this is the episode right here. And it's a group episode, which is always adds an extra level, which is nice. And it's Halloween, and we end up making that continuous theme. So
can't beat it, man.
Love them.
So is that mine? Yeah, that's mine. That's got to be S tier, right?
Divine? All right, man. You said it.
We'll get it. Okay, here we go. So as I said earlier, and as I said multiple times, once I came back from boot camp, I was scrolling through the names of the episodes I missed. I was like, wow, how much work had he done? And then I saw The Trial of George Glover, and I saw there what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people. I was like, yo, how does he even? And I know we talked about this in our top 10 SHANS, but like just the logistics of getting all those people involved, and then to have it all work out in such a funny way, and just I mean, I didn't even, again, the what y'all were talking about was more junior year. I wasn't as part of it, but still, even as someone that was outside and think someone who could have helped him in the final verdict, it was just incredible. And I mean, I think you're ranking it, but still,
I think we agree on this one.
Yeah, this is easy.
George was just a real good sport about the whole thing. The real, like, the way we kicked this off really set the tone. Yeah. And that was, sorry, I put that on there, so it stopped dying.
Okay, yeah.
It was Owen.
Yeah.
Owen, man. He came out guns a-blazing in that trial. And I didn't really know what to expect hosting the trial. I didn't know if it would be kind of stale or if people wouldn't be that too into it.
Yeah.
But Owen set the tone, and everyone else just kind of followed suit. Everyone started bringing the heat, started bringing up old stuff.
Wasn't it George Glover, A Story of Perseverance or something?
Yeah, exactly.
Like that.
All sorts
I was like, oh, this is going to be good, bro.
Yeah, and everyone was really well prepared as well. Maybe not Sammy and Chunk as much, but Owen was well prepared. Oh, that didn't work. I tried. Yeah, it's a divine episode. It really is. And it was everything that you would want in a group episode and more, because also Max kept on like citing really specific things that gents do and saying that therefore he's a dog because he didn't do those things. I don't know. There were a lot of personalities coming together that, you know, it's also like all of these episodes we're talking about that related to Okinawa. That's what made Okinawa so special. Right. So this is a great way for people to get a taste of what it's like living in a small military kid community, because we had conversations like this all the time. Yeah. Like it was always like this at baseball practice. So now we get like, you know, snippets of this in a podcast. Yeah. So that's really cool for us to relive and enjoy. So
that's easy.
George Glover.
Okay.
Chamois worthy as well, but divine.
Now, we're going into something that, I saw the trial of George Glover, I was like, that's really cool. Yeah. What's right after that? And this is one, I mean, that I think this is the first time that drama really enveloped the SHANS show in a crazy way. Angelina Parker came on to the show after being absolutely incognito for a couple years. So this is a big deal. I mean, it's still one of the highest viewed if you just look at the episodes in and of itself. And I mean, it's an interesting episode that I can say that for you know, again, just for what it meant during that time. And again, I don't really remember a lot of the content, so I'll probably have to give it to you to that. But yeah, what was that all about?
It wasn't as much what Angelina said on the show. It was more so the fact that Angelina was on the show. Yeah. Because there was so much backstory to this, between me plowing her when she had a boyfriend back in Oki to like, oh, it didn't happen, it did happen, to her disappearing entirely. She's not on social media, she's not on anything. And she's just gone from the face of the earth, to her next reappearance is on the Shanon show. Yeah. I mean, within the Kubi drama like landscape, this is like peak.
100%.
Like this is the biggest news. I was getting views on that. Usually I can kind of tell where the views are coming from. Like a lot, like the Instagram people will see it on there and then it'll translate. This was coming from all over the place. Right. Like people were sharing this outside of whatever I knew, and people like the views kept on climbing, and I was like, ooh, we stirred up some drama here. And Angelina, I'll give her credit. I don't talk to her anymore, but she came on the show and she was really good. She's always been a great speaker, and she was excited to be a part of it, and she really was happy to be there. So I appreciate her for doing that. That's for sure.
I think this is on me, right? So I think I have it as I have an A tier, just again for what it meant.
It was crazy. Just like I kind of forget sometimes. I see she was on the show.
Yeah. For 16, I kind of just have for ones I don't really know. I just
Nancy,
there's
me. Schmuck. So
go ahead.
Nancy came on this one. I was trying a new setup here. I didn't like my camera angle again. This is always part of it. But Nancy, she had some connection issues as well during this. Her face was always like really situated far on the left of the screen for some reason. But Nancy's a lot of fun, man. She really is a fun person.
What was the connection? It was tennis? Is that right?
Tennis. She played tennis, and then she was actually. So I was junior class president. The following year, she was the next junior class president.
Was this before she had gotten that role, or
it was right around the same time?
Okay,
and I made a video for her actually endorsing her, which is really fun.
That's right.
And I mean, she's really smart. She's really enthusiastic. She loves Bill Nye the Science Guy for whatever reason. And what I love doing the most with Nancy is she's very. I don't want to say innocent because obviously she's a full-grown adult at this point. But she's very optimistic. She's very smiley. She's just a happy-go-lucky person, and then I would
person to be around.
And then my question was, how many toddlers do you think you could fight before they overwhelm you? And like she's like, oh my god, I would never hit a toddler. So I love that sort of reaction. I would have to rewatch it to get a better idea of exactly the content. Because I don't remember all these as well.
Right.
But just knowing Nancy, she's
over 2 years ago. That's so crazy when you look at it.
She's a great person, and she would be welcome on the show anytime. This is good stuff.
This is good stuff. Easy day.
Was that number 16?
16. There we go. We still got away. So I wonder if we're even gonna.
We'll see. Yeah.
Episode 17. Ben Gillen. Now again, Gillen. Is it Gillen?
The Gillens.
Wow. Okay. After all this time, I still don't know how to say that.
Guillotine. Huh? That's what you went with. All right.
Ben Gillen. Now, actually, I know more about him because of his incredible appearance at the Shammies. The third Shammies, right? So I don't think I've seen as much of this episode, but one thing I do remember is the meme analyzation part.
Oh yeah.
That was so
Top
funny.
tier.
And then that was just. I think that was just a taste of what was to come. Obviously, now you're pretty much a full-fledged meme account.
Yeah.
But it's cool to see that you guys already had that kind of dynamic already, and that you already. Were you even thinking about starting memes at this point?
Not at all.
Not at all. Okay.
But honestly, I felt bad because I didn't have Ben on the show earlier.
Yeah, really.
He was. I mean, I wrote about it in my book as well. Like he was a great mentor for me. I felt like my freshman year at Kubi, he was a junior, and he was one of the first people to really put his arm around me and welcome me into his friend group. Let me know I was welcome and to be a part of his group, and he's just a great guy, like a really great guy, and he was a part of the show moving forward. He's on the Guns N' Roses poster.
That's right.
Crying out loud.
Right there. I got it up in my room.
He is, and he's great. He doesn't have a beard in this, which is kind of funny. We talked about Thanksgiving. It was right around Thanksgiving. We didn't want to do a special. We talked about how the whole parade thing is some BS. We analyzed memes and we ranked the memes out of tour songs. So.
Underrated episode, I think, if you can.
Underrated, sure. Yeah, I think that we had better stuff in the future with the POPs.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, this was a great. Just to get him on the show was really nice. And as you can see, I'm back at home for that. I think that was over Thanksgiving or winter break, and then I stayed there for a long time because COVID broke out again.
Yeah,
but
good stuff.
Was this you?
That was me. Yeah,
good stuff
is
sure,
good.
Fair enough.
Cool. Okay. All right. Episode 18. We got Kai Grubby. Go at it. You got it.
It is me again. Kai Grubbs. Shoot, man. Where do I start with Kai Grubbs? This is a younger version. Like I'm looking at this picture.
I think I have here. This is when we still had innocent Kai.
Yeah,
right?
this is a little bit more innocent Kai. And he was great. He was like, his camera was terrible. Like his face was at the bottom half of the camera the whole time. And that was when I had the name tag, so I had nowhere to put the name tag. But I mean, he's a funny guy. I love Kai. He was my doubles partner for a while. I think we brought up some funny old shit. Probably some Angelina stuff in there. Probably
you throwing the underwear out there.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great callback. Actually, thank you for that. It wasn't anything exceptional or like nothing to write home about.
Sure.
But Kai, he's a funny dude, and he deserves to be on the show. So I was happy he was able to join me.
That's all on you now.
Wait, I ranked the last one, did I?
No, I gave
you did.
Oh, I just agreed with you. About? Yeah.
Can we click on it for a second? Is there timestamps for this one? I don't remember what we talked about. This might be a bit much, guys. Sorry, we have so many to get to, and I'm looking at the timestamps for this. 30th teacher kid, falling off his bike. Peace Memorial. That was funny. Talking about that trip. I'll give him. They're filling up. They're filling. Good stuff. Fair enough.
Okay. All right, we'll go get stuff here. All right. Episode 19, we got John Palmer. Now, obviously, I remember seeing this again. I was like, oh, cool, John Palmer. And watching, he does has I will say, he probably has the best background of anybody in any SHANS show episode. Straight COVID during the middle of this. It's a funny guy. And again, but really what I remember about this, it was really you kind of being a majority of the conversation. There really wasn't a lot of back and forth with this. And we love JP. He's an incredible guy. We'll never forget that. But again, I think in terms of how much
I mean,
that episode actually was engaging. It wasn't all,
this
all
is
that.
what JP is. I mean, he's a really quiet, keep to himself kind of guy.
Yeah.
So I think this was more my fault. Not that he doesn't deserve to be on the show, but just like booking him for a solo episode, I think was a mistake.
Okay.
He would have been a much better fit.
Like episode 5,
he would have been a much better fit there.
Yeah.
I think we tried to get him on that, if I remember correctly, and it just didn't work out. But yeah, solo episode, a lot of pressure on the guest to talk a lot, and he's not a guy who talks a lot in general.
Yeah.
Really funny dude. Yeah. But he's more like he just has like the funny comments here and there.
Yeah.
Not
based on what's going on.
Yeah, he's not like the chowder monologue, like longer stuff. So that's just part of who he is, and that's totally fine. But yeah, I would not say this one is anything special.
I have it in mid. December, right?
Totally fair.
Okay, cool. All right, get the chamois, yo. Go for it.
Original chamois awards. So I did this one from my grandparents' house. Actually, we got the Santa hats on, and I didn't know exactly how this was going to go. This wasn't originally like the Chamois Awards. Yeah. That's not what it was. This was a Christmas special episode, and I was just bringing Sammy back on the show. Yeah. So he was just going to be a repeat guest. We're going to run through some things and talk, and he was talking about how he was doing in Colorado and moving around a little bit more since the previous episode. We kind of just like gossiped the whole time. Yeah. So, but then we did the awards later on, and that was really fun. Yeah. Like announcing the rewards. I had really shitty graphics for them. We did the voting on the Instagram stories. There's only a few categories, not nearly as big as what it became later on. But he's great. Anything with Sammy is a lot of fun, and it set the precedent for future Chamois Awards.
And again, we talked about this in my last in-person episode. It's like just the idea of we got 20 episodes. Yeah, let's do an award show. That makes sense.
Well,
right?
the whole idea was it was at the end of the year.
Right.
So this was late December, Christmas time. It felt like I don't know when are the Oscars? Right around that time anyway. It was recapping the year, which is funny when you only have 19 episodes and you're giving out awards for them. But it was a funny new thing to do. Sure. And it was like, well, how can I keep the podcast fresh? Let's have a trial. Let's have an awards show. So yeah, it was just something funny we tried. It was Christmas special, and
And this was the start, and it would truly evolve later on.
Yeah, it did. Cool we'll get to those for sure.
So it's got to be Divine, right? This is me. Because it's you, because I got JP. Yeah, so that's you.
I'm going Chamois worthy. That's me.
That's right. Yeah, I do have a Chamois worthy.
I'm going Chamois worthy. I don't think
because it hadn't quite.
This one wasn't exceptional. This is Chamois worthy because of what it became. I think more so than the particular episode. Yeah.
Now, I will put this disclaimer for these next 6 or 7. I haven't seen a lot of them. So I think it is going to be a majority of you talking here. I can't
run
talk
through them quick.
Okay. I can talk a little bit just about this one here with Carolina. Seems like, I mean, she won Guest of the Year based off of this. Yeah, she did. So, I mean, it's got to be meant for something. But I think basically the concept was a military kid's guide to college applications, right? Yes. And that's an awesome idea. I don't know what the execution, you'll have to talk about the execution, but again, it just seems just on the surface like an awesome idea.
Yeah, so this was well done, totally fine. Yeah. Obviously, still not the best production quality. We're still early on, but Carolina was great, and she was well prepared for this as well, which I have a ton of respect for. I had her back on the show, so there's another repeat guest. She wasn't in a car this time. She's a little more situated, which is nice. And we just talked about elevating your military kid backgrounds on college applications, which is a really big thing, because whenever you're trying to pick out things from your childhood to make yourself seem fit for a college or a job, it's really important for you to look back on your childhood retroactively, despite all of the hardship you go through as a military kid, and portray yourself in a really positive light. So that's what we talked about. We talked about writing essays and which things to pick and choose from. So honestly, this kind of laid the groundwork for a chapter in my book as well.
Interesting. Okay, so, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's right. I think that is something.
Yeah, so I wrote about.
Were you already writing it at this point, or did that serve as kind of like an inspiration?
Don't think so.
Okay.
Don't think so. It might have been in the talks. Yeah. But I don't think I was writing yet. Yeah. But yeah, I think that because she won Guest of the Year, it has to be good stuff. Yeah. It was also just like a much different vibe change from all the other episodes, and that's not her fault. It was a more serious tone. Yeah. And that's also
sometimes you want that. That's no problem. Yeah, so good stuff. I agree with that. Okay, episode 22. Again, Alex Saber. He is probably one of the biggest advocates of the SHANS.
Yeah, no kidding.
Every single time he's posting about it, he's putting on story. He is an incredible guy, and and I respect him a lot for what he's decided to do. I think is he still at the Naval Academy now? And he was obviously talking about that, and I think you had a little clip about that was big too. And again, I think this is similar to JP's. It's just the personality, right? Yeah. Some people are better in a group, and some people it's a little harder when you're only one-on-one. Yes. So go ahead and take that.
Yeah, Alex, he does have a ton of personality. Yeah. He's a funny guy. I didn't know him that well at Kubi, but he was, like you said, one of the biggest supporters of the show from the beginning, really. Mm-hmm. He was always putting it out there. He was always trying to get people to subscribe, and he was making like requirements for like younger sailors.
That's right. Yeah, you had to.
Midshipmen or whatever. Yeah.
That's great.
And making them to subscribe to the show. So, and then his sister later on, his younger sister, who I don't even know how old she would have been at this time, she was really helpful for me because she bought the book.
That's right.
She read the book,
right.
and then she also did an interview with the Daily Collegian
right.
newspaper
part
at Penn
of
State,
interview,
talking about
That's so cool.
how helpful the book was.
Article, yeah.
I have so much appreciation for him and his family, and they've been incredibly positive on the SHANS show, and we would not be where we're at without his contributions.
I think that elevates this in some certain.
Absolutely,
right?
Yeah. So I don't remember too much from the show specifically. I remember we were probably both a little nervous and quiet, but I love Alex.
You think good stuff done for this one?
I mean, you could also put it in mid just on the episode, but because of him and his family and how...
I'll go good stuff for this one.
Good stuff.
Okay, 23. I mean, Grace Rogers, I knew of her, but again, I have this kind of shrug, so I'm going to have to let you take it away.
So Grace Rogers, her mom and my mom were very close friends while they were in Okie.
Yeah.
I knew Grace because she did drama and theater, and I kind of was getting out of it when she came into Kubi, so there wasn't a ton of overlap, but she's a very nice person. I don't know. I just didn't know her that well. So that's part of the episode. You see, this is the first one where I put the Museum of the American Military Family.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, that's right.
Mark on there. So that indicates that was the first episode where I was the student liaison officially.
That's right. Okay.
So that's where I was a part of Museum of the American Military Family Media, which didn't grow as much as we wanted to, but I had some big ideas for it at the beginning. Yeah. But we ended up writing a book, so who cares?
Right.
But Grace, I cannot say enough good things about her, honestly. Like the fact that she was willing to come on the show. Another person who's a little more nervous, I think, about coming on the show and getting in front of an audience, despite being a phenomenal actress, by the way. And she talked about that. Like,
do you know what she's doing now?
She's acting. I forget which school she's going to, but our parents still talk. And yeah, I really appreciate her coming on the show. That being said, wasn't the best episode. It wasn't her fault. I take all the blame for that. I think if I had her on the show now, we'd have a great episode. Yeah. So that's just a part of the early days of the podcast. I think. So I'll put it in mid, but it was not on her whatsoever.
Okay, episode 24. This is
kind of big in a weird way.
This I have written down. This was like our biggest goal for a guest for like the longest time.
Which is really weird.
So basically, this guy's name is Elijah Bird, right? Yeah. And you'll have to tell me a little bit more about the backstory. But as far as I can understand, this is a guy that had kind of a pretty close relationship with an NBA player, right? Yes. Josh Richardson.
Jay Rich.
So again, you're kind of more into that world, so you know more about it. But you got him on the show. I don't know how you found him and how you reached out, and I was like, wow, that's really, and that's one of the things where I freaked out when I first saw it. I had to come back and be like, yo, you got the Jay Rich kid. We're going places, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but again, you'll have to talk about more about that in and of itself.
Elijah, he just has a phenomenal story, man. Yeah. I highly recommend people check this one out. Another one where I wish I brought him on later on, just because I got so much better at being an interviewer and asking questions that were a little bit better. But I mean, I saw him on TV during the Sixers halftime. And like you said, big Sixers fan. So I'm seeing him on TV and it's like military appreciation. And they have this military kid out there with Josh Richardson. Yeah. They're talking about their unique relationship. There's a whole article about them.
Was Jay Rich military kid as well? Is that
Josh Richardson is a military kid.
He is, yeah. Okay.
So he grew up, his mom was in the Air Force. And he spent time in Europe, I believe. Okay. So that's one of his big priorities, no matter which team he's on, is to be a part of the military community. And Elijah obviously benefited a lot from that. And he was a great kid. Obviously, I didn't know him at all going into this.
Was this the first person that you didn't, other than Brett Brown personally, that you didn't have any? Yeah,
it's
got to be. Yeah,
it must have been. Yeah. And I was so excited. I remember I was telling my dad, I got Josh Richardson's kid on there, not his literal kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Elijah was great. I still follow him on Instagram.
That's cool.
He was funny too. Yeah. And, like we were just like nerding out about Philly sports a little bit too. Like he got all these really cool experiences and
one of those niche ones, but still really cool.
Niche. Especially for me, just being a Philly sports fan and him being so tightly connected to Philly sports and growing up in Philly. And he went to the same high school that my grandfather went to in Philly.
Interesting.
So just like a
lot
lot of
connections there. Yeah.
So
we're going good stuff for that one then?
Good stuff, man. I mean, just a really cool story too. Oh, I see this next one right now. Good stuff.
Here we go. Should we preface this at all?
Well, no. This is your job.
Is it mine? Okay. Episode 25, Bryson Loki. Now, Bryson was obviously a member of our team, our Kunisaki baseball team. And he's always had an interesting personality, to say the least. And look, this is what, a 25-minute show, and most of these were about 30 to 40, so you can tell just by the timestamp that there wasn't a whole lot of chemistry there. And again, I this bar says I watched more than 3/4 of it. I don't think that actually happened. I must have been looking at the year in review and trying to find that clip. Because I think we've talked about it multiple times, even on the show. I think that this might be, unfortunately, as much as we love him, kind of the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, it's almost so bad that it's kind of funny. Yeah. I think that I think during this episode too, I just look exhausted. Like I don't know what I had going on at the time, but like I just have no energy to carry that conversation, and he by no means was going to carry it himself. It was like talking to a cardboard box, and I was trying to get it to half an hour. I could not get it to half an hour. Yeah. No, Bryson's great. Bryson knows it's all tough love. Like, like we do appreciate him, and he went on to do some great things playing baseball in Europe, which I'm happy for him for. And he's a hard worker. He's a great guy. But yeah, this episode sucked. Yeah. I was embarrassed to put it out there, actually. Yeah. I was thinking about not, but I wanted to keep up the weekly episodes. So I slid it out there. Yeah. I don't even know. I don't think I put an Instagram post up for it. And I had multiple people tell me, what was that? Like, did
I think there's a comment on there that's like, this thing is trash. Yeah,
bro. This is terrible. And
oh man.
Yeah, it was hard to get through.
So does he get his own tier, or are we just putting him in the
No, this is Trainwreck.
This is
Trainwreck.
Okay, cool.
No bones about it.
Yeah, that's all good. Okay.
You want me to talk about this next one?
Well, I can set it up a little bit because I know a little bit, but basically, this is the first Avery. She's the first content creator, right? That you also had on here, and it was very similar because it wasn't just any content creator. It was for military kids. Yeah. It was really interesting because I don't know if you guys both started at the same time. But you guys were at least, I don't know, I don't think she's doing anything anymore, but you guys, I remember, I think one of the things is like, is this cool? Like, are we going to be live?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But no, you guys seemed really great, and you guys seemed to kick it off really cool.
Yeah, I mean, she just has a great personality for being a podcaster. Yeah. I wish she was still doing it. Obviously, I think that high school just got up to her. She got busy or whatnot.
Oh, she was in high school at that time?
I'm pretty sure.
Wow,
yeah, she was young, and she was taking on this project of starting a podcast, and I'd done the same thing. So I wanted to have her on, talk about her perspective through it all, and she was great for it. She really was good at what she was doing. So I don't know if she's ever thinking about rebooting it, but we were able to kind of share the podcast for life, even though I was still early on. Right. But at the time, I kind of felt like a seasoned veteran.
Yeah, comparatively.
And a veteran, 26 episodes, a staggering resume on my part.
Look at us now, right?
But yeah, she was great.
Yeah.
Nothing bad to say about her. But once again, we kind of talk about this era of the podcast. It's just kind of like I didn't know which direction I wanted to take it in. Sure. And, all these episodes are just vastly different. It wasn't like the fun Kubi banter anymore. It's kind of diving into
not a lot of
consistency, some new things. Right? Yeah, not a lot of consistency. The season didn't really have a theme. Not that any of them do, but it's just like I didn't know which direction I was going in. But it wasn't her fault at all.
Yeah. So where you putting this? I think it's you because again, I didn't know too much about it.
I'm gonna. I won't go good stuff just because she's a great person. I don't want to call anyone mid.
Yeah. There's two that I can talk about a lot, okay? But at least for I think
one more. You watched that. You should have watched that one. That one's fun.
Yeah. These two boys. Are these the youngest guests that you've ever had?
Yes.
Yeah, that's really cool. You'll have to tell me. But they were talking about, I think, just traveling around the world, right? On a sailboat. And
really cool
I kind of, we joke about my Pacific rap stuff sometimes. I kind of have a little bit of an idea of that, but they've lived it. You know what I'm saying? Man. So again, it says I've watched all of it.
These are two really cool military kids. I've known their family for a long time. I remember when these two guys were babies, literally. And yeah, it was really cool to have them on the show. They have so much personality, especially Garrett, man. Yeah. I mean, that little man has so many out-of-pocket things to say. You never know what he's going to come out with next.
He comes in later, right? Or is that his brother that came later?
His brother comes back later.
Okay,
yes, Davis came back on the show later. And yeah, I love having them on. This is such a fun conversation for me. As you can see, just like my attitude during this episode versus during the Downey episode. I mean, like, it's just night and day. It literally is. And I enjoyed every second of talking to them. They were so entertaining for me. They were like pirates, essentially. Right. So yeah, I love them.
That's cool. Yeah, you get that one.
I'm going to put it enchantment worthy. Personally, I really enjoyed it that much. I don't think you would ever get near that ranking for this one. Or
I understand that.
But I'm incredibly biased.
Yeah,
I absolutely adore that episode.
Okay. Here we go.
Take it away, man. I've been talking a lot.
Oh man, episode 28. So this was the one right before my boot camp one, and I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. Kenna Wells. Obviously, we had known her from Kubi. And it was like, but I really, you don't look at that and think, okay, this is going to be the one that blows up, right? And it's just so interesting. We've talked about this multiple times. This is the biggest thing that I think if you had told us after episode 1, this is, even the book, a book, I know, like, you have these kind of aspirations, like, you're gonna do crazy things, but that we're gonna piss off, basically, a bunch of New Zealanders for some not that out-of-pocket stuff that we say.
Incredibly mild.
Incredibly mild. And again, to this day, I don't know if the views have balanced out now, but again, most of them are because of those New Zealanders. And again, you're gonna talk about, I know, but Kenna, just incredible guest. And
Yes,
every time
absolutely.
that she's
You're
on
spot
here,
on,
she brings it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, this is a truly, I have it here, and I think we talked about it, turning point for the Shannon show right here.
Yeah.
Because we talked about that consistency had kind of dropped off. I think this is the point where you were
can
energized.
see the color change.
Yeah, you can see that. Yep, you already know.
Yeah.
That this is a point where you're like, okay, I can really go through this.
Yeah, it was brighter, a little more vibrant. Like the conversation was really lively, and Kenna, man, like it was a gold mine. Like I had no idea. Like I obviously had known her at Kubi, but like that she was this well. She was very good at articulating her experiences and like telling a story at the same time. Because
this
like,
wasn't the one she was in quarantine, right? That was the next one.
That was the next one.
Yeah, so she's still in Florida.
Yes, so she's in Florida, and her ability to talk about her experiences, but also tell them as a story, so you don't know what's going to happen next. Yeah. And it's entertaining throughout. It's it was a really special gift that she has, and there was a lot of that in the next episode as well that we're about to talk about. But yeah, she talked about living in New Zealand, which only a very few amount of military kids have ever done. Yeah. It's a very unique experience for the job that her dad did, and yeah, the way it blew up, totally unexpected, but we'll get into more of that later because that was some mild stuff we were saying about New Zealand.
It took a little bit, but
she was also very surprised. Like she had no, like I told her later on, like, hey, that's my most viewed episode by far. Like, thank you so much. And she's like, I don't know what's so special about it. For her, that's just normal conversation, which it was, and that was very long, an hour and 8 minutes. Was incredibly long at the time. Yeah. So,
but it felt fresh, right? It felt like
it was great.
Whipping.
It was great. Yeah,
you guys were going back and forth, great banter. Yeah.
It was a great episode and a turning point for sure.
Easy S tier.
Easy. Oh, all right.
Don't even
28.
Okay, so episode 29. Now this one again, it feels kind of weird for me to talk about my own episode, but if there is one that I'll talk about, it's this one.
I mean, you know it. You lived it.
Yeah, and so I just come back from boot camp, and this started again. You've said it before. This started kind of a little boot camp chronicles kind of thing. I think there's 4
genre.
of them.
I love
now at this point, 4 or 5. And again, I went through boot camp, and I knew, okay, I'm going to get on the Shannon show again. And I want to make sure I'm not just, saying stuff. I want to make sure I know what I went through. So I was writing down stuff. I had these little note cards. I made sure I had to hide from the drill instructors so they didn't rip it up. And I just came in. And again, one thing, I'll say this. There's at least been 2 people now. I know Kai and Owen have said that this is their favorite episode. Yeah. That means a lot. It really does. And I try to bring the energy. You'll be like, hey, can you elaborate on that? I'm like, nope, I'm moving on. So, because I think I have information and stuff to do. So, but yeah, it was so much fun. And you've said it before, that was the most comfortable you'd ever been, right? Yeah. How much that you felt in the actual podcasting studio.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I love my setup for that one too. I was feeling a little bit more comfortable. Yeah. I had the new microphone. Not the big window still new. Yeah, I wasn't backlit the whole time. Yeah, man, you came out firing. I mean, obviously just rapid pace because you were busy. You had stuff to get to. Yeah. But also just like the way you were able to compact all the stories into like one really entertaining episode. We had to break it into 2 segments too, but it still feels really cohesive. Yeah. And the whole thing is just, it's rapid fire, it's fun, it's entertaining, and these boot camp ones as well as George's later on, they do really well on the audio platforms as well. So I think that people just really enjoy
people don't even have to
stories.
See,
exactly. They can just hear these stories and laugh, whether they've been to boot camp themselves or they're thinking about joining, or if they just want to hear the shenanigans that goes on. Right. And yeah, I mean that was a big deal to me because it's like, all right, I made it until Hoppy came back. Right. It's like we were talking about those previous episodes. I didn't know the direction. I didn't know where I was going. And then now it's like, Johnny's back. Yeah. Let's go, man.
We're back in the stew.
Let's do it. We're back in the stew.
There you go.
We put out a banger, man. Yeah. And I know that I think partially because of this episode, you only want to come on when you know it's a banger. Yeah. You don't want to come on and like drop the ball. So you set a high bar with this one, and I think I ranked this literally number 1 when we did the top 10 last time. So I mean, this is divine. No arguments.
Okay, so episode 30, we got Abraham Schofield now, and I think we talked about it even when it happened. This is a prime example of someone that when you talk to him, like I didn't know him that well, but he's an incredibly funny guy, a very interesting, energetic guy when you're talking to him face to face. And again, this is similar. Well, actually, I mean JP is more quiet in real life, but again, some people when they get in front of the camera, it's just a different vibe.
I don't think he was. I don't know if it was because I don't think he was nervous. I don't think that's what it was. I just don't think he was terribly interested in coming on the show, which is totally understandable. I mean, he's a really smart dude. Yeah. He was doing some cool stuff, and he was just explaining.
He's a pilot, right?
How he talks. He's a pilot. Yeah, he was flying at that time.
That's so cool.
So yeah, I think that's just who he is, and he's like the Shannon show to him. Like to us, it's like, whoa, back in the stew, we're on the Shannon show. To him, he's like, all right, what do you want to talk about?
Yeah.
Like, sure. So I
kind of more taking your lead in a way.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess I could have done a better job. I'd have to go back and listen and see what I could have done better, but I'm sure I could have. And yeah, nothing on him, but yeah, he wasn't as high energy as other people, but really smart guy, and I would always love to talk to him.
Yeah. I'll probably give this one to you then.
I'll throw it in mid. Easy.
Yeah. All right. Okay, episode 31, Eric Gansey. Now this is another guy. If you know some of the lore
I
here,
like this one.
yeah, no, it's good. But so he had come on episode 5, right? He had been there with Adam and Cade, and then he got his own episode, well deserved, I think. And again, I don't remember too much of the actual episode, but I know he came back on the Shammies later on that year, and he always just, I mean, it's so cool to see how y'all's relationship has evolved from back in the day to now you guys are talking on the pod, and it's all cool. So, I mean, I'll let you take it away.
Well, I think that Eric and I, we both have, we think kind of similar. Like, he's more of an artistic guy, but he's like starting his own thing. Like, he's always creating content. He's always working on something new. He always has a project
I never put that together.
On.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So I think that vibe, despite me whacking him in the head with the pillow, like, well, he was butt naked or whatever. We got over that really fast, and like we started talking about what he was doing, and he's an incredibly passionate guy, and I had a great that was the first preposterous predicament.
Was that?
The first
I didn't even know that.
preposterous predicament was in that episode.
There you go.
There you
started that.
That was oh god, it was if you could pick any two people to breed
and
for
John,
an alien Olympics,
John
and he
Cena,
brought up John Cena.
Yep.
And that was a great would you rather, and that was a great way for me to incorporate fun, like out of the box conversation. Whenever we're talking about things that are specific to him, and while they're interesting, they may not be interesting to everybody.
Sure.
But if you throw in fun tidbits here and there and fun would you rather's, then it kind of spices up the conversation. Also relaxes the guest.
What? I mean, was that just something you had thought about one time that this would be a cool thing to do with the guest? Was specifically for him, or
I actually stole it from a podcast that I listen to all the time, a Sixers podcast.
Nice.
They call it something else, but it's like a would you rather question they do at the end, and it's not related to anything else they talk about.
Sure.
Obviously not related to Sixers basketball or military kids. But I just realized it, especially moving forward, it really makes the guest relax. It's a fun conversation and brings them out of their shell a little bit. Because obviously it's not serious. There's nothing at stake. You can't say something wrong in a question that has no real meaning.
And sometimes you got to throw, like you've said before, throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah.
And that's definitely one we'll see. That's stuck. Just in a little bit actually here.
Yeah.
So I personally give it a B for good stuff.
Sure thing.
Is that cool?
That's cool with me. Eric's fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Episode 32, Dame Brennan. This one's really interesting because I remember texting Shannon that... Underrated for sure, because it's one of those, this isn't one, again, that's going to get all those views, right? You don't look at, Czech Slovak mission and be like, oh, that's a banger, I gotta watch that. But if you actually do take the time, I mean, just his story and what he's doing out there, it's incredible. And some of even some of his comments,
some cool stuff. He's funny.
I remember one of the, what was it, on your Russian-controlled state media or whatever. That's really funny. So I really, again, I didn't watch all of it. I mean, I'm part of the problem here too, but still, I think it was really, like you said, underrated episode.
Yeah, I think it's definitely underrated. Dane is a really smart guy. Obviously, the fact he even did that mission speaks to his selflessness. Right. And yeah, he's always been a really cool speaker. Another guy who did it in the car because he didn't want to let me down.
That's the second one.
He's like, we're gonna do it, man. We're gonna do it, regardless.
And where was he at this point?
I couldn't tell you. Maybe I think he was back in the States. He's
Okay,
married now.
Wow.
He's a great guy.
That's cool.
And I've had both Brennans on.
There you go.
I kind of forgot about this one. Yeah, Dane. I'm gonna throw it in good stuff.
Yeah, go for it. All right.
Good dude, good story.
We were talking about this earlier. Is it me?
Yeah, this is you.
You know what I got? We got to be careful here.
This is you. This is you.
I know.
Well, here, I'm going to preface it with this. If there's one... All right, so we're talking about all these episodes, right? And it's like, it doesn't have that much at stake. Because one, not that many people watch the Shan show. And two, I don't think there's that many people who are actually going to be going through and like, what did he say about me? Oh my God. Tier listed my episode. Where did I fall in the rank? And there's one person who would be concerned about that. And it's going to be proved when she watches this. And she's looking at me right now. And she's like, oh, he got me. I got you.
Man.
I knew you would come and see what I said about your episode.
Yep. She's just waiting.
There you go, Jonny. Take it away.
So really cool concept, right? Because this is somebody that has gone from being a brat to a D1 athlete. You don't see that every day. I mean, if especially as someone who is, it's a little easier. I mean, if you're playing on Camp Lejeune because you're in the States. Yeah. For her, she was out in Japan in Oki. So the fact that she was able to get recognized, you knew she was good at what she did.
Absolutely.
And again, personal bias, right? I remember being like, "Oh, it's so hype! I can't wait for her to get on here." But again, in terms of there isn't really much I remember from that.
Yeah.
And as great of a friend as she's been to me, I can't.
No, she's been a great friend to me too. She's. Yeah, good episode.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy. It wasn't a banger. There was nothing that stuck out more than anything. I was just really happy that she came on. I think I reached out kind of out of nowhere. We go in between contact and not as much contact. So I appreciated her coming on the show, just like I appreciate everyone coming on the show.
Sure,
and
sure.
yeah, I got you.
Yeah,
So
we're just put a
you're
mid,
ranking
though.
it. You're putting mid.
I'll put a mid. I'll take it.
That's on you. That's on you. You got invited to the party, not
Right?
me, so.
You gotta cut that out.
I'm not.
All right, this is the last one I have notes for. So after this, we might be rough.
Oh, you're free balling after that.
Yeah, I'm free balling after that. Panel Preposterous. Again, you've talked about it before. The name is just like no one likes it, right? But I mean, just and we talked about you throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. You had done it just a couple episodes before, and you were like, you know what? Let me get a bunch of people and just do a whole episode on this. And it's almost an hour, and these are always some of the most fun. I do think this is similar to the Shammies, to where this wasn't the full evolution of it. Obviously, you were just starting this. I think the second one, we'll get to that, is by far the best one. But again, I mean, just take me through again that process of how. I mean, where were all these people at this time?
I mean, so 3 of them are Gillans. So 3 of them are in the same house.
That's right.
In different rooms recording this. I don't know how their Wi-Fi held up.
Yeah.
And the other one's Garrett, who also knows Ben.
Yeah.
And I think that what made these special was not the concept of the Would You Rather questions. Like anyone could come up with that. It was them.
Yeah, the people.
That group of people. And I knew their family was perfect for it. And I'm so glad that I chose the right people to do that podcast episode.
Because otherwise there wouldn't be 2 more.
Yeah, there wouldn't. There absolutely wouldn't have been.
Yeah.
And I think that was really cool for me to say, hey, I got this idea. Who would make this the best?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's almost like having the meme and the template, like the caption and the template. Like, all right, I have the caption, I have the idea. How do I pair this so that it's something that's high quality?
Yeah.
And I even love the first one too. There's some really funny stuff in there. And I mean, Grace is just hilarious.
Okay.
She says like crazy things. She's really smart too.
Yeah.
And then Ben is just, I mean, it's Ben. Dog. He's also a really
Peter
funny
G
guy.
always puts in some things.
Peter G, he's very different from the two of them. He throws them some great clarification questions.
I never put that. It took me a while to put together the dots that they're all related. You know what
they're
I'm saying?
all related. Exactly. Yes.
Oh,
and then Garrett, he's funny. His reactions, his laugh always makes me laugh too. I love their questions, and they're willing to go the length in terms of thinking about really stupid shit way too hard. And all of them are willing to do that despite their different personalities. It comes together really well. And the next one is are
we not ranking this? Yeah.
Rank it.
I have an A.
Yep.
Shammy worthy. Because again, I think it still evolves.
Yep.
It's funny. I think this has got to be a coincidence, but this is where I stopped with the notes. Once I saw this, look, Lindy Ross. Again, a great person that we remember from Cuba. I think she was part of Koi Club, was she not?
Yeah, Lindy Ross.
Yeah, so really cool stuff. But again, when I saw it was an hour and a half long, I was like,
you're like, what is going on here?
How did this come about? And again, I mean, actually, I don't know how this is probably, I was looking, again, this is one of those where I was looking for whatever the quote was, whatever. I think I was looking at your eye roll, because I think this is the one where she's like, I'm looking at all these TikTokers, and they're just dancing their butt, and they're getting money. I never have to work another day. And I look at your face. That's the funniest thing. You're just like, I can't believe I'm here right now. So, I mean, take it away, man. I don't really know.
Dude,
what
Lindy's great.
say.
You know what's the best about a Lindy Ross episode? Is I can just sit there, right?
Yeah.
It is the definition of let her cook.
Right.
Because she just goes. And like I throw up like the most like innocent, like not that deep question. And she just goes, man. And she has so much to say. She's really passionate. And yeah, man, I have nothing bad to say about Lindy Ross. Johnny's not a big fan of the Lindy Ross episodes. That's just Johnny. But Lindy is always welcome on my podcast.
Okay.
I don't always agree with everything you say, and I'll roll my eyes sometimes, but I consider her to be a good friend.
Okay, well, you get this one, then I'll get the next one.
Okay, World War II veteran, Dr. Allen.
Well, no, in terms of ranking.
My bad.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Good stuff? Yeah. Actually, do you want to move it down? Or?
Good stuff continued?
Yeah.
Good stuff.
There you go. Okay, so episode 36, Dr. Alan Dale Olson, a World War II. Once I saw, I remember he texted me. He's like, "Yo, I got a World War II vet on."
Yeah.
And again, you told
there's
me
not many.
There's not a lot out there.
Yeah.
Respect them a lot. And you were telling me like, I thought about winging it, but then I was like, no. Like I got to find some things here. And this is the premier underrated episode in my opinion.
So?
I think so. I mean, I really do. It's unfortunate. I think our generation doesn't seem to appreciate these kind of guys as much as they really should.
52 views.
Because some of the stuff. Just the historical significance of the things that he's seen, just incredible. And again, I'm a history buff, so I have that bias in that way. But still, I think anyone could find some really cool sage advice and cool stuff to listen to if they saw this episode.
Yeah. So not only was World War II veteran, which is obviously better for the caption and getting people to click on it, but he also was one of the founding fathers of Dodea,
That's right.
the Dodea school system.
Okay.
So this episode kind of it's both at the same time. And then he founded the Museum of the American Military Family. So this is someone who has done a lot for the military family community throughout his life. And he's still working for the museum. He's still publishing books with them.
Incredible.
Like, this is just a guy who's really smart and really cares about military families. And he had a lot of really cool things to say. He's funny too. He threw a few jokes in there too. I was really nervous about this one. I really was. And I mean, just to see
more so than anyone before that.
I don't know. Maybe I was just nervous because I didn't know how to approach it because I've been talking to all kids.
Yeah.
And then now
that age gap is pretty
now I have someone who I deeply respect on the show, and I want him to take me seriously, but also for it to be laid back because it's the Shanon show.
Sure.
It's really hard to find that balance, but I think we did a fairly good job. I even made sure to wear the Taco Bell shirt. I'm like, don't take yourself too serious. Like, this is still a good time.
Right.
Like, he's willing to come on here. Yeah. I'm sure he knows what you're about. I had been working with the museum for a little bit at that point, so yeah, he said some funny stuff. He talked about the moon landing. Just the fact he lived through those events is just like incredible to me. So
that's Shammy worthy for me.
Yeah,
I think so.
There you go. Incredibly underrated, if anything,
for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to start on this one?
Sure, Kayla Thompson. I got a terrible haircut right before this episode. It was rough.
That's the first thing that comes to mind.
I got the mop before that one, and I go home, and then I don't know if my mom did that one or if I went to some cheap hair cuttery place. But it wasn't my best cut, but you know, the show goes on. That's what they say.
It does.
And man, Kayla was great. Yeah. This is following the Boot Camp Chronicles template. So I really just let her talk about her boot camp experience, and she came back on the show.
So cool to see it from a different perspective.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, so that was a big part of it. Is like the Marine Corps boot camp Paris Island experience from a different point of view. And another person who's just really funny. She can carry a conversation, and she's just really genuine. Like she's kind of similar to Nancy in a way, just like genuinely a happy, just a kind-hearted person.
Great person to be around.
Yeah, there's not enough good things I could say about Kayla Thompson. Always welcome on my podcast.
What you giving it?
This is Shammy worthy.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
Shammy
agree.
worthy. Yeah,
I agree.
37.
Okay.
Wait, did you put that one in Divine or Shammy worthy?
No, that was Shammy worthy.
My bad.
Yeah, no, you didn't. Here, I got you.
Yeah, I'm special.
No,
I got a race right here.
So 38. This is Max Guo. There you go. Fellow Penn. So was this the first person you from Penn State?
Fellow Penn Stater. Yeah. I mean, we were both at home at the time. But yeah, Penn Stater.
Yeah, first Penn Stater. I really like the episode that he does later with Rial as well. That's one of my favorite ones too. But yeah, I mean, he's got a really cool personality. You know, obviously he didn't hook up the Shan show while he was a journalist at Penn State. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it while I watched this again. I don't know if I watched the whole thing, but I'll let you take it.
Yeah, I think this was a real fun one. Yeah. I like Max. He's very I don't know how to describe his personality. Like he's a really smart guy. He takes things a little bit more serious than I do. So this is another example of someone who I like to kind of poke fun with just a little bit. Like I bring up some inappropriate things and see how he reacts.
Yeah,
and
it doesn't
like,
always hit.
I would never associate.
Yeah.
So he's funny too. And we had a great discussion about like Chipotle or something. There's a great clip with that. And like holding a burrito this big.
That's right.
I forget what the would you rather is.
Yeah.
But yeah, Max is solid.
Yeah, good stuff, you think?
Yeah, good stuff is fair.
Put that on there.
Okay. What number is that?
That's 38.
38.
Okay, 39. Here we go. The return of Kenna Wells.
The
first return of Kenna Wells.
Yes, the first return.
So this was her in quarantine. Very interesting. Is this the only person that you've ever had that was in quarantine specifically for a podcast?
100%.
Yeah. And then, this is, again, she was talking about New Zealand. Obviously, at this point, because it took a little bit for the New Zealand kind of fervor to really to come about. But at this point, it's in full swing. And I think that you must have been like, I got to get you back on.
Yeah, literally, that's how it was. And I wish I was a little more patient. I think I got her on, and I'm like, this is what the people want to see. I have to get her back on right away. And I got her back on a little bit too quick, I think. Okay. Which, I mean, the episode quality is still there. Still a good episode. And I don't know if it was as good as the previous one, just because that's when she recapped like her life story.
Sure.
And she lived in so many different places. Like that's also part of it. Like someone who was just fortunate enough to live in so many overseas locations.
It's crazy. She was in America for her first one. She was New Zealand for her second one, and Ecuador for her third. Like,
crazy.
That's
right?
insane when you think about it.
I didn't even think about that. And it was just, I just love the difference in vibes. Like the first one, she's in sunny Florida. Like she got her glasses on. Like she's like blonde, and this one quarantine.
Yeah,
like,
and literally doesn't like the nurse come in like during the middle
exactly. Like giving her food. Yeah, it's hilarious.
Oh man, it's so funny. But the big thing I think we got to talk about this is because obviously, on her first episode, there were some people that had some not so nice things to say. And look, New Zealanders, I don't know, probably none of them are watching this at this point. But look, we have nothing wrong to say about your country. But when you take it that, personal, we're going to poke fun. As Americans, we're going to poke fun. So you that's when you put up the clip of New Zealand doesn't exist. Yeah. Right? And is that, other than the moving to New Zealand, that's the biggest clip, isn't it?
That's a big one. That's a big one, yeah.
And
that's so basically what I decided at that point. I'm like, if we're going to lean into New Zealand for the views, I'm going to lean all the way in.
Yeah, might as well.
I'm not going to have one foot in the pool. Yeah. So I went all the way. New Zealand actually doesn't exist. Yeah. Literally like that. And it's something that I kind of played along with. It was a running joke in the podcast, which was really fun. But yeah, I mean, she rolled with those punches, if you want to call it that, considering she's in New Zealand.
Well, it's funny, because if you actually look at the episode, you say right at the end of that, it's like I'm saying this kind of stuff, right?
Exactly.
So if you actually watched it,
exactly. That's the perfect example of, I was like putting on an act and putting it in a clip. And it was, perfect example of things being taken out of context, which also is a running theme in the show. What would you rank this one?
That's Shammy Worthy, I think, for sure.
Shammy Worthy, all right.
You want to check it one more time?
Sure, man. You're paranoid. Dude,
hey, man, I'm telling you.
Running these out.
So basically what
take both.
Yeah, I'll take both of them. What Shannon was talking about earlier was me wanting to make sure I was in bangers. Pretty much came from these next two. Because the first one is Gents of the Round Table. Now, if you know anything about the history, obviously we have the Gents and the Dogs, right? Those are the two big polar opposites, basically. Factions within the Kubasaki baseball community. So normally, you expect a gentleman to be on time, to show up for something that he's been asked to do, and if they give you your word, and agreed to do. So unfortunately that didn't happen for this episode. It was Shanon, and I think the quality wasn't too great on that one too, right? It was myself, and I was in, again, I looks a little bad there too, because I was in New River at that point. And then Owen, he was at a friend's house. He was in the bathroom of a friend's house, so we didn't even get to see him. He was on the hotline again. So it was just a mess. If you look at the pregame of that one, that was actually probably funnier than the actual episode itself. It was unfortunate. It was doomed from the start. And I don't know how much better to put it than that.
No, I would personally put this in train wreck. I don't know if you would go that far, but from my microphone being backwards to I actually had a girl sleep in my bed upstairs while I was recording it, and then during a gents podcast. What's the irony of that? Right? Yeah,
that's so funny. And you dispute though with the trial. Come on, man.
We'll get there. The logo I made just looks like a turd. Oh, my legs are cramped. My legs cramped. No.
Should we time for a little bit?
No, I'm good. Let me stretch it out real quick. Oh, God.
Not on camera, bro. You need a wing?
I just flexed it and it just cramped
up.
Oh,
no. You need some milk?
Okay. No, I don't need some milk, dog. We're talking Gents of the Round Table. Yeah, it sucked. I'm playing train wreck. What number is that? What number?
It's 40. That's 40. No shot, bro.
Oh, that's great.
Middle of the episode. Okay, rolling right through. Koya Club reunion. This was something that we were excited to do because, again, very niche, but we had a really cool English teacher. I think this was 10th grade, right? This was our sophomore year. Mr. Koya. And he actually, he featured a little later on. You had a little clip about him. That's pretty funny, too. And we basically had an entire episode about English teachers, which again kind of sounds weird, but when you think about the personalities that were in that class, you thought this could work.
Yeah.
And no offense to the people that showed up, and myself included, but again, the dynamic of all those people, it just really didn't. Again, I remember you saying like you felt like no one was really willing to engage and talk, and again, it just ended up kind of being. You got a funny thumbnail there with Elizabeth. But so some funny things that were mentioned in that, but again, the dynamic of the group just wasn't great.
Well, the one funny thing that was mentioned in there.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, man, it was like being the point guard on the Process Sixers. Yeah. Like I'm TJ McConnell trying to dish it out to people, and there was a brick and shot after
no
shot.
No one could hit anything. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Koya said he watched this one and he enjoyed it.
Okay.
I'm like, I don't know how.
Okay.
I think that it was just kind of. It was a little glum from the beginning just because the turnout was low. Yeah. So this was actually initiated mostly by Alex Saber, which is totally fine. Because we still have the group chat for the English class.
That's right, yeah.
He was kind of forcing it in there. And I'm like, okay, fine, guys. We'll do a Koya Club reunion. It had a lot of potential, but no Ari. Lindy wasn't there. Yeah, both former guests. Michaela would have been a big part of it. And I think that's totally fine. Like, I don't ever judge someone for not wanting to come on the show or being too busy. Especially for a big group episode where we're trying to get everyone's schedules to align. Yeah. But it didn't hit.
Yeah. Are you going train wreck on this one too? Actually, this is mine, right? I had it in mid, but now that I'm thinking about it, might as well. If you put Gents of the Round Table, this is.
You think it's right there?
Yeah,
all right,
you'll
bro.
put that right. That's tough. Two back to back, bro. Oh,
Two train
man.
wrecks back to back. I should have quit the podcast.
At that
Good
point.
thing the next
Yeah,
episode.
pretty banger. Go.
We
go
got
take
Bloom,
it.
man.
Go take it.
This is in the early days of Bloom.
Yeah.
This is Elena and Matthew, and it's funny just like looking at them. They look so much younger in this one too. It tells you a little bit how we've grown with the podcast.
Yeah.
But episode 42, Elena Ashburn and Matthew O. These were the founders of Bloom Military Teens.
Start of an awesome connection.
Organization, and they have so many. I have to make this joke.
Yeah.
They have so many children working for them across the world. They're creating an international army. They're not getting paid.
No.
They're minions. It's ridiculous. I don't know what they're doing. They're gonna have the next branch of the armed forces.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be Bloom.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. But the fact they've done something that I always wish the Shan show would become.
Yeah.
And I have so much respect for them for growing that. And I think partially because they were currently military kids when they started it.
Yeah, you think that.
So they have so many more connections and they're like getting their actual peers
Are they
to
still
be a part
in
of this organization.
Are their parents still? Do you have any idea?
I don't know currently,
Okay,
but I think they very well could be. Matthew was at Humphreys. We had been to Humphreys before.
Right.
Elena was in the States. I think Elena's definitely an Army brat. I don't know. I don't remember Matthew, but I adore these two kids. I adore this episode because I reached out and the connection was made, and it just they're like my. I always try to say it like they're the more serious version of military kid content.
Yeah.
And I'm the meme.
Yeah.
I'm the trying to get
Especially
canceled.
now,
I'm the hectic one. I'm like their weird uncle that they don't always talk about. And I always think like they show a lot of love for me. I show a lot of love for them during our accomplishments. I think there's a little sexual tension between between the Shan Show and Bloom military teams, but you didn't hear it from me.
Something.
But yeah, these kids, two very bright individuals, two very talented, and they brought it. They brought the energy. They were all on board, and they were very happy to come on later on as well. So
yeah, that's you now for this one.
January.
Yeah, easy.
42.
And you might need a.
Yep, we're gonna do that.
Okay. So 43. So this is Kenny's solo episode. Did Garrett ever get a solo episode?
Nope.
He did not. Okay, interesting. So one member of that trio got his. And it seemed like this was a more serious conversation, if I remember. Yeah. And again, this thing says I watched half of it, but I know I didn't.
Yeah.
So you'll have to take most of it away. Kenny, he's a very funny guy, and a very interesting guy, but he's got a lot to say when it came to these kind of topics, right?
Sure. I don't know if that's necessarily the case. I think that one, I was in a pinch for a guest this week, so Kenny's like reliable for me. I can always count on him to come on, unless he's asleep.
Yeah.
So I guess I can't even say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that I was just really inspired after talking to Bloom. I wanted to get a little more serious into military kid issues, and that's where the inspiration for this one kind of came out.
Yeah, that's
I wanted to kind of take on a new tone and really. I didn't want to be the guy who just told high school stories at this point. I want to be, I can have serious conversations about this too. I can be a figure in the community.
Yeah.
And I don't think I did a great job in this one of doing that. I think it was a little forced.
Interesting.
I think that a lot of what I said was like pre-made up in my head, like I practiced in the shower.
Okay.
Which I don't
like you knew what you kind of forcing questions.
I was forcing questions into that, and I was
for the clips, probably.
Partially for the clips, sure. And Kenny, he's just a good sport, man. He was there. He had a lot of good things to say. He can also have those heartfelt, serious conversations, which I love about him. And then he also joke around. So the duality of man.
There you go. Plato, Aristotle. Yeah. Is this me? I'll give it to you because again, I didn't really.
I'll go
see
good
much
stuff.
Of it.
Why not?
Good stuff. Solid stuff. Okay. All right. Episode 44, Willow Lewis. I think she falls into because she's best friends with Kayla, right? She really falls into that category, man. She brings great energy, man. She's got a lot to say. She was really, I think she was talking about, she was about to move from Oki at this point, right? She was about to start college. So that was another interesting element that you were able to put in there. But again, I really enjoyed this one, man. This was a lot of fun.
This was a banger.
Yeah.
This really was a banger. This is the third time I dropped the pencil. That's amazing. So another one, if you guys want some more behind the scenes, this is the first one I did from Florida. So this is yet another location. We're at my dad was living in an apartment. So I'm in like an apartment room. I'm sharing the room with my sister. And like I have this janky setup. Like my microphone is like attached to like some of her textbooks.
Nice.
Like summer workbooks that she had. And
well, they should see what the phone's on here.
Yeah,
we're still at episode 100.
Tolkien. Yeah, well, this one in particular, it was just it felt, it was just like kind of pop-up podcast video, which is what a lot of this is. But Willow was fantastic.
Get a whole hour. That's incredible.
Yeah, it was good the whole all the way through. Because I think that also just because she was in Kubi more recently than me, so she can speak about the recency of Kubi and then also what she has ahead. Another really smart person. She's just brutally honest and she's funny and we talked about like her major start off is astrophysics.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is not her major anymore. But it was just something that we could both laugh about. I just love. I love everything about that episode. She was.
Yeah.
She was
and you brought her
really-
back with Kayla later on,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome stuff, man. I think that's easily. Is that shaming worthy or is it good stuff?
I would say shaming.
Shame worthy. Okay.
That's-
Okay. Cool. Let's get it. I'll let you get this one again. This is just a short one.
Yeah,
I think this is one of
cadence.
those where you kind of put it in at the same time as the other one, right? Was there like two?
Yeah. So
episodes
this
a
was
week?
2 in one weekend exactly. So I slid this one. There was a little bit shorter. So Cadence, Kenny's little sister.
Mm-hmm.
She's just the sweetest person.
Yeah.
She has been willing to come on the podcast ever since.
She's
I
a big
started
fan,
it.
right?
She is a
Yeah,
big fan. She
yeah.
watches. I think at this point she watched like every episode.
Wow, that's
In which I mean,
maybe she
made it
knows.
through the
She
Downey-
might know the
she
lore
might be
better
the
than you
one,
do, yeah.
maybe. I don't know if she still does.
yeah.
But she like tells her friends about it,
Yeah.
and I think she was a little nervous going into this, but she's also like really smart. Like she like is like well ahead in her grade level in math, all sorts of like crazy stuff.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
she skipped a grade as well.
Wow.
Yeah, so I it was cool to like pick her mind a little bit and just see her perspective. Obviously, she's a little bit younger, so she can't look retrospectively as
Sure.
much on her childhood.
Sure.
But she told me her current feelings about what her being a military kid is like, and I know her older brother very well,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's been cool to see her in Oki where she was very young.
Yeah.
And like I saw her playing outside on a scooter to
Yeah.
now she's having like very adult conversations
Yeah,
about
that's an
being a
interesting
military
transition.
kid.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Evolution there.
I enjoyed that.
That's cool. Yeah, I'll give it to you though.
Good stuff.
Good stuff. Awesome.
What was that? 45? Okay, almost halfway. This is
Almost.
insane.
Wait. Is that 43? Yeah, 43,
It's
right?
the 43, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay, Mia Aston. This was low key. I think, huh? Yeah.
Right,
I'll talk
yeah,
about this.
yeah.
Is low key. I think you were shocked. We're like, ooh, she's got 10,000 subscribers.
Sure.
Let me try to get a little bit of
Dip into
that.
that.
So that's what it is. It doesn't look like it was too long of a conversation. I don't. Does she have any military ties?
Yeah, she's a military kid.
It's that,
That's the whole
okay,
thing.
okay.
So
I
she's a
was just
military
out-
kid
yeah.
vlogger on YouTube. I
Yeah.
didn't just hit up a vlogger just because she
Yeah.
has a lot of subscribers.
Yeah.
No. And I saw she had a lot of cool vlogs about moving.
Okay.
And that's something like we're both on YouTube. I do podcasts and she does vlogging. And
Yeah.
it's obviously way more successful on YouTube than
Yeah.
I'll ever be. But yeah, she was very nice. I think she was a little bit nervous coming on the show, which is totally expected considering I'm a complete stranger who just reached out to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool having a content creator. I love having content creators on the show. So she was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
And this is one where the camera angle is the Zoom camera angle because my phone, it was like this.
Yeah.
But it was recorded on the other camera.
Nice.
So I pick up my phone after and it's like the bushes outside the window. And I'm like, nice.
Heck yeah.
So
Heck yeah.
that's one of those.
Okay. So that's where the okay.
Yeah, that's the Zoom camera.
So that's where
so,
that's
yeah,
so
that's
the
that's me at
Gotcha.
that point through
Gotcha.
the Zoom camera.
That's
So that
interesting.
was that's just
funny.
what happened.
Right.
So yeah, it was really cool. And then she also in her vlog for however long later she made the vlog, she talked about coming on the podcast.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to see through her lens.
Oh, did she actually? I didn't
Yeah,
even
yeah.
see
So
that.
she talked about like getting ready for the show
Yeah.
and doing the show, and then
That's
she was
cool.
like, it was great being
That's
on the
cool to
show.
see,
Yeah.
man.
So
Yeah.
and she gave me a shout out and everything.
I have that one. Good stuff. Does that sound good?
Yeah, it's fair.
Yeah. Okay, so you made me go Elizabeth, so I'm gonna make you go this one.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
that is
not fair at all.
100%, bro. Episode 47. Sky Waters, tell me how that came about.
How did that come about? I think Sky and I, we reconnected somewhere in there. I remember we started talking on the phone a little bit more. I mean, just as friends, just like reconnecting. Obviously, we had a relationship back in high school, but she's just a great person, man. She's very nice. She
Was this kind of a boot camp one, or was it not?
a little bit. I was leaning towards boot camp, but
It's not what it ended up
She kind
being,
of wants
right?
to do her own thing
Yeah,
sometimes. She's
yeah.
a little feisty in that way. During like halfway through, she turned it into the Sky show.
Yeah,
She started
that's
asking
right.
me questions.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just her personality, and she
Mhm.
let her personality shine.
Yeah.
I love having her on the show,
Yeah.
and she came on later in an opportunity where I did not love having her on the show, which is
Yeah.
totally fine. But I think there's just a really cool period where I was able to reconnect with someone,
Yeah.
and it was great having a very positive conversation. Now looking at that thumbnail, she said something about another previous relationship.
Oh, that's
that
right.
she-
Yeah.
that she probably shouldn't have said.
I remember
but
that,
But that's
yep.
okay. And then my reaction was also a little out of pocket, so I do regret that a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, no regrets. Obviously, she's great.
All right, that's on you. What you got it at?
I don't think it was shame. I'll say good stuff.
Okay. Hot stuff. Okay, here we go. I love this one.
You love
Episode
this one?
48.
Knock it out,
PP2.
man.
Mostly
PP2.
again, we've talked about this, but is his name Jared? Is that who
Jared?
it is?
It was
he has
great.
one of the funniest things I've
Yeah.
ever seen. I think again, what was the question? Would you rather tell every kid that you've ever seen that Santa Claus isn't real,
Yeah.
or just splash water in every kid that you see's
Yes,
face, right?
exactly.
And he goes, what was it? I see a 3-year-old in the alleyway and I just go splat, right? It was just one of the funniest, like, offhanded things that I'd ever seen.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, again, just that I think that was the most people you ever had in a
Yeah.
panel Preposterous. And I mean, it's chaotic, but it's great. It's
Yeah.
incredible.
And then Grace had her friend Caroline on there as
That's
well.
right,
Who
yep.
ended up, she was also great throughout. She was a good sport with the whole thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just everything I said that I loved about the first one, it was in the second one and more.
And more, exactly.
Which was great. I had some banger questions for everyone, and everyone was completely on board and taking, really pointless questions to an extent that they were never meant to be taken to. So that's what I love about
Easy
it.
S tier.
All right, man. What is it, 48?
48. Okay. You want to do this one and then maybe take a little break before we do 50?
You're getting a little tired.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, sure. Get a few wings in us. Get a little bathroom break. All right.
Episode 49. Nick, I think it's interesting because obviously this was a point where we had already kind of gone through that Kubi baseball phase early on. So it's similar to George's in 95. It's kind of like a throwback. So again, very, very niche thing that really only like 10 people in the world would care about. But again, as someone who's a part of that, it was cool to see him again. Unfortunately, he hasn't come back on. But it was an interesting conversation. He says out-of-pocket things as well. He's just part of that group. I mean, it was cool to see him for sure.
Yeah, I would say this one was a little. It was a little surprising in how much I enjoyed it. Not any knock on Nick, but I was a little worried just because now I'm going back to Kubi baseball talk. I kind of talked about it all. It felt like, but just getting his perspective on things, it was still really funny for me. So I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. I really enjoyed having him on, and I hadn't talked about Kubi baseball stories in a while at that point.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
that's true.
like you said, it was kind of a throwback. It was kind of back to the roots of the Shannon show, and he did a great job throughout. It was also like kind of a boot camp episode, kind of not.
Yeah.
He talked about it
he's about to leave.
He's about to leave. Yeah. So. Yeah, all right, good time to take a break.
And we're back.
Took a little break to eat the rest of the wings that were, saved for human consumption, unlike the final one that we ate. But we're gonna do the second half of tier ranking every single Shan show ever done. This is taking a lot longer than I thought it was going to. You?
Yeah,
it's taking a lot longer than I thought. We're like 2 hours, we'll be done. It'll be easy and fun. But no, turns out we have a whole lot more to say. Maybe since we have some more repeat guests, we'll have less to say.
Right.
Who knows, man?
We'll see. Go for it.
Go for it, man.
Okay. Episode 50. It was a good place to stop off because this one may just be the biggest in terms of who the guest, what it represents, and who this guest actually is. That is director Thomas Brady, not Tom Brady. Director of Dodea. Now, again, we've talked about before how this came about. But it's just, I mean, it still blows my mind to this day.
Yeah.
I thought on 100% you were, I mean, well, we didn't. Brett Brown, sure, whatever. But like at this point, I was like, "There's no way he's actually for real about this." You know what I'm saying? And it ended up being huge. I remember one of the comments was actually from a teacher that was saying like, "Wow, this helped so much, Shane." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, just take me back again how that came about. And
well, I talked about Miss Circe Olsen Westner helping me with this contact, and Mr. Frank O'Gara, who is the contact that she had, that got in touch with Mr. Brady for me, but. Yeah, man, it was just a big deal. It was a big deal through and through, and especially in our community. Because whenever people ask me, "Who's the biggest guest you found on?" Like, I can just say Tom Brady. Yeah, leave it there. But like in terms of Dodea, like that's a huge deal. He's the top dog. He's the top of the food chain. He's the one who's doing press conferences. He's the ones at the Pentagon. He's the one who's the highest of the highest in terms of the ladder. And he represents military kids at the very top of the food chain. So. It was really cool hearing his perspective versus me. I'm just some peasant who just so happened to go to a Dodea school for 3 years versus him where he's visited every single Dodea school. He oversees all of it. And I just loved how much he valued my experiences and what I had to say. And you could tell he was totally genuine about it, which I really appreciated.
Unfortunately, he never gave his favorite Dodea school.
No, he did not.
You wouldn't go that far.
He did not give his favorite Dodea school. But I think it was just refreshing because I think a lot of times when we talk about people in power, we're like, a lot of people have negative things to say about them or a lot of criticism or things they could be doing better. And I'm sure he hasn't handled everything in his job perfectly, but the fact that he was willing to come on such a small podcast and talk to me, who was just a military kid, or at that point, a former military kid, if we're being honest, and give me his full attention despite taking a few sips of Diet Coke here and there. I mean, he was totally engaged, and I can't be thankful enough.
And you said it before, like we were really happy that this is the guy that's in charge.
Yeah, I genuinely, after that conversation, maybe he's just a great actor, but like I was genuinely happy because he talks about going to Dodea schools and like he sits down and he gets lunch with the kids. And he's talking to them and asking them about their experiences. And it is refreshing because not everything at Dodea is perfect. We know that. There's a lot of teachers who shouldn't be teaching. There's a lot of facilities that are very outdated. But it isn't amazing how large the defense budget is and how so many of our schools have been the exact same since World War II.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, like
Crazy
Kubi's
how that
been in the
works.
same building since the 50s. Like, it's insane.
Where are these
but,
resources going?
Yeah, jets. But it's all good. Yeah, it's obviously
Easy.
a huge episode. I don't know what more I could say. It's
Easy
easy,
S tier.
divine.
Can't even go with that.
Fitty.
51, George Glover. This, I think, is the culmination. This is his best. Again, he had just come from boot camp. He just had an incredible story.
A great follow-up, too.
Yeah, and the longest by far, although when this is done, it's probably going to overtake it, which I got you, George. But, yeah, I mean, just really cool, again, to see a different perspective. He did a lot of the same things that I did. But as you can see, it's over an hour longer than mine. So he really took the time to, for someone, I don't know if Nick had gone by this point, but I think, someone like Nick that's really trying to figure out what that's going to look like. I point him to George's. I don't point him to mine. Mine's like, okay, cool, little snippets. I point him to George's because he just did a phenomenal job.
That's fair. And this one, it's kind of weird. It's almost like going on after the main act or something.
Yeah.
Because, like, he has to follow up, like, such a big episode.
Yeah.
And he talked to me about that before.
Yeah.
And when I was building up the episode to Director Brady's, I was, like, putting all these promos out and, like, all these teasers. Yeah. And George thought it was all for his. Yeah. He was like, whoa! Like, this is hype. I didn't know it was this big of a deal. Yeah. And then Brady's came out and he's like, oh, okay.
That makes more sense, yeah.
But this one, still a really big deal. A great boot camp episode. Like you said, goes into a lot of detail. And it's funny, too. He's an Iron Duck.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 100%, man. I think it's S tier too.
Back-to-back S tier. I mean, we had back-to-back train wrecks earlier.
Yeah, so might as well.
But to start the second half with back-to-back S's.
That's pretty good.
Good stuff.
Next up, Aiden Leggio.
Still really good.
Yeah, this is a solid one. He's got he's got a personality that is made for the camera, bro. He knows how to tell stories and how to make it funny and engaging over an hour and 20 minutes. Yeah, I think he was a phenomenal guest, man.
He was, and it was a good opportunity because I got to talk Kubisaki tennis, which I always love doing, and I got to hear a little bit about.
You haven't done as much of that, actually.
Yeah, a little bit less. Well, it's not the same as baseball banter. There's less stories.
Sure.
Definitely less stories. But Aiden, man, he's doing great, and it was cool to just reconnect with him. He's obviously younger than us, so he has a more recent view on Kubisaki, which is nice. Sure. And it was also cool to hear his perception of me when he was younger, and I was the guy who was on the team. Yeah. He was in 8th grade, and he saw me, Kenny, and Garrett just like killing it out there. So it was cool to get another perspective, and Aiden's a great guy. Yeah,
I think Shammy worthy.
I would say so. Okay. Right here, 52.
52. Okay, Sebastian Mata, episode 53. Really cool guy. Again, we both know him from our Kubi days. I think the biggest thing that I remember from this one is the latter half. We all talking about relationships and stuff. Sure. So I mean, cool stuff. Definitely to come from his certain perspective, but I really don't remember too much from this.
No, it wasn't.
That really sets it apart.
It wasn't an amazing show. Yeah. Another guy who might work a little bit better in a group episode. He didn't really want to elaborate as much. Sure. He kind of just answered the questions. It was a little still. He had like a black curtain behind him for some reason. Yeah. Like he didn't want to show his room, so he hung up a blanket. Sebastian's a really chill guy. Yeah. And I like him. He was a great friend of mine freshman year. We both survived West together. And we talked about Miss Corley a little bit. It was I would put it in mid. Yeah. For me.
I'd agree with that. Yep. Okay, next one. This is like a great example of a phenomenal idea and concept. And again, I'll be honest, I didn't watch it, okay? Like, I can't tell you the execution. Yeah. But again, just kind of what it represents. I think you had Director Brady back on here. Yeah. And that's
what's crazy.
The whole gang. And for you to, it's one thing to have a group episode with a bunch of your peers. Yeah. It's another to have it with a bunch of older gentlemen and ladies here, and that I mean have so much experience within them, bro. Yes. I can't imagine. You must have been pretty nervous for this.
Yes, I was a little overwhelmed because I'm hosting this, right? Like this is on the Shanon show. We're having the 75th anniversary of Dodea. Yeah. Like celebration podcast with the director of Dodea, Mr. Franco Garrison there too. We have 2 other military brats, 3 other former military brats. Dr. Allendale Olson returns to the show. Yep. Obviously, Circe's there co-hosting with me. And shout out to her. She made like an elaborate script for this whole thing. She planned out the whole thing, and she made it really easy on me because I think she knew that I was a little in over my head for this one. I mean, this is totally different level compared to what I usually do. Yeah. And this one was never going to perform as well as the other ones, but the fact that this happened on the Shanon show is just another like sign of me moving up in the military community, and I'm starting to have a bigger reach. Yeah,
that's so cool. I'll let you do it since I got here.
54? I'd say. I don't want to call it mid because it wasn't that exciting.
It's got to be good stuff, right?
Sure, good stuff. Sure.
Again, for what it represented, right?
54.
55, Connor
All right.
Brennan, return to the show. And this is actually, I saw the full one, because again,
really
the
good
last
one.
one, I was gone, so I wasn't able to get the full scope. But this one was awesome, man. I mean,
Yeah.
again, all the things that we said for the first one, I mean, they're just so natural, bro. The way they're able to feed off of each other and off of you. And I mean, yeah, you can, it's one of those guests, or both of those guests, you can just let them go.
Yeah.
You know, there's really not a lot of prodding when it comes to them.
No, I mean this was the definition of, hey, let's run it back.
Yeah, right.
Like these guys,
Yeah.
we had a banger first one,
Yep.
we had a banger second
Yeah.
one, and it was a lot of, they kind of mirrored the first one. In
You gonna tell them there might be a third one?
Yeah, so I promised them, if you're a real sicko and are into the Shan Show lore like this guy and Cadence, then you might remember from episode number 55. I promised them an episode in 2024, I think it is.
Okay.
So
That's when because they're both gone, right?
they're both doing their own thing,
Yeah.
and they're both kind of off the map, off the
Yeah.
grid for a while. So we'll see if that happens.
Look out
I
for
booked
that.
it in my calendar, but a promise is a promise.
Right,
So
right.
we'll see. We put the last one as good stuff. Last one was
yeah.
12, so I guess it has to be the same.
Gotta be. Yep.
55.
Just consistent.
Really
with that.
fun, yeah.
Yep.
Always
So
fun.
56, Max and Rial. I really like this one. This
Yeah.
one was funny. You had this. Was this the first in person?
Yes.
This was the first in person.
Yeah.
Always got me a little salty for that. But
Yeah.
if anyone was gonna be first in person, I
Yeah.
think this was a really good one.
Yeah.
The little handshake, the fish thing that y'all
Yeah.
did, was so funny. And again, just that it brought a new element that you just, and unfortunately, and again, I think COVID obviously played a big part of it. But again, just the nature of the beast that your whole show revolves around military kids. It's gonna be really hard getting someone in there. So the fact that you guys were both in there created a new environment. It was really cool to see.
Yeah, we had a great setup too. So we had Rial on this like Mac monitor. It was a really big monitor. So it was almost like he was like to scale of actually being in the room.
Right.
So it's me and Max right next to each other. It was totally new, and it was definitely a milestone to finally be sitting next to somebody.
Right.
And not be talking through a screen. So I don't remember too much of the preposterous predicament, like you said, was really good in that one. And then I think Rial shared some funny boot camp stuff as well. But yeah, I think you'd be better to rank it, honestly.
Okay. You know what? Actually, I should probably bring up my thing here.
You have some for this one?
I have it for all of them. I mean, you know how it is. This is Shammy Worthy.
Shammy Worthy, all right. I know you had it for all. That's crazy.
Hey man, that was a long train ride.
Yeah.
Okay, spooky special. Again, I mean, there's not too much that we can add. I think. I mean, I love the actual. I mean, Gary or Garrett coming up with the actual Kermit the Frog thing. That's so good. I mean, again, what we said. You three just feed off each other in a way that honestly, I don't think there are three guests that have that kind of energy. In the Shan
It's
show.
special. That's why it's the Halloween special, man. Like it's something that we feel we can do annually, and it will always be good.
Yeah.
And even if it's bringing up the same exact thing as last year and getting a new reaction to it, I mean, it's just like Kenny pretending he doesn't want to be there, but he secretly likes it, and then Garrett just like hammering away with the roast. It's fun, man. I think that this one was maybe even better than the original.
Okay.
It's right there, and 13, so I'm gonna go right back to S. If
Go
that's all right
for it.
with you.
Go for it.
57.
Okay. All right, here we go. The thing that Shannon wants to talk least about.
Oh my God! It's already here.
It's already here. Look, see, we're moving now. We're moving. We're moving. This again. I mean, we've talked about it ad nauseum. When it comes to this, your trial is still one of the funniest things I've ever been part of. Obviously, I understand coming from your perspective. Yeah. It's a little harder to swallow. But again, it was one of those things. You brought so many characters together, and I think it worked. Again, being the center stage of that might have twisted your view. Times, but as someone that was a part of it, and I'm sure people that were on the outside looking in, it was funny, man. It was really interesting.
I mean, if Owen set the tone for the first one, I think you did for this one with the wig and the outfit. You're like, let's do this. And this was more than any other one. This is the one where I felt like we are in a cinematic universe.
Yeah, right.
Like, this is the one where it's like, I actually feel like I'm surrounded by a bunch of characters, and we're talking about the dogs and the jets. I'm like, is this even real?
Yeah.
Like, this is so deep in the lore right here, this one. And it was painful for a lot of it. There was a lot of twists and turns. It had to be heavily edited. I actually, fun fact, I premiered the unedited version originally for one time only. And it had a pretty good amount of viewers on there. So that was terrifying. But then this one's pretty heavily edited, toned down, watered down, if you will. But still a lot of juicy stuff in there. Which is...
I think Demoralizing Machine is still in that.
I don't know. I'll have to check. But actually, I won't check because I don't want to watch it.
Well, you got the last one. I know you would put it lower, but I gotta put in Divine, man.
I understand that. I understand that. I put myself on the burner, man.
Yeah.
Say what you want. I
burnt.
I do the work for this show.
Episode 59. I think you'll have to take more of this. I think if I remember correctly, she was trying to become a Dodea teacher. Is that right?
Yeah.
Camden. And that's exactly the kind of stuff that I think it makes the Shannon Show unique, right?
Yeah.
You're looking at somebody that's coming through the Dodea system, is now trying to go back in. But yeah, go ahead and go talk about that one.
Hey, Camden's awesome.
Yeah.
We have a funny backstory because when I was a freshman, she was a senior, and tried asking her to homecoming, and it blew up in my face. But it was really fun for us to kind of. I think we reflected on that a little bit, and then just like move past it because obviously does not have any impact on us today. And yeah, she's doing a great thing. She's gonna be a phenomenal. I think she is a teacher now.
Yeah.
And I'm just really happy for her, and she's doing something that she loves, and she's interacting with kids, and yeah, it was great to have her on the podcast. That was a really good episode.
Yeah.
Another one that's underrated.
Okay. What are you giving it?
I would go just because it's such a unique topic and it's a Dodea teacher on the rise.
Yeah.
I would lean towards Shammy Worthy.
Okay.
I really would.
I respect it.
Maybe that's kind of blowing it out of proportion, but
I respect it.
It really was. It was a good one.
Yeah. Episode 60, PP3.
PP3.
So at the end of I'm all about my trilogies over here.
Yeah, you like to wrap it up.
Yeah,
nice
I really do
neat,
like to wrap it up. It was cool. I mean, there's just not. I don't think it quite hit the highs of the second one, just because again you do have. Is it the original cast again? So that's interesting.
The original cast.
Yeah.
Again.
But again, I mean, it's a tried and true formula that worked again.
It worked. Yeah, I would absolutely say that it worked. I think that the first and second were probably better.
Yeah.
But they're still, I mean, it's also just like bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Like I could put a super PP
compilation
with all the best questions from the three.
PP. That's definitely how I got this.
But yeah, I mean, it's good. I think we had some issues. I think Garrett had to leave at one point during it, so then we were down to 4.
Right.
But I mean, that's just part of doing a Zoom podcast.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Good stuff. Shammy Worthy, what are you feeling?
Do I have this one? Yeah, I have it at Shammy Worthy.
Well, all right. Yeah. 60 back-to-back Shammy Worthies. That's a good stretch.
61.
Maybe back-to-back-to-back.
Yeah, because this might
is a good stretch.
This is a good stretch. This might be the most apt description that you have ever put in in the little description.
Yeah.
It's like an episode that slowly gets worse the more you listen to it. I mean, this is like I would say like, okay, these are what is it, 4 guys, or they're obviously they're in their own nice little community. But the more you listen to it, the stuff they get into and the out of context ones, especially Kai. Some of the funny stuff you'll ever see.
Yeah, man.
I mean, I'll just get this is easy. What would I have it? Actually, I have it at Shammy Worthy. I might even go S tier.
You're feeling divine? You're feeling that
I'm kind of feeling. I mean, you got this one, so but let me know.
Yeah, this one's really good. So basically, this is like their version of my Kenny and Garrett. I feel like.
Yeah.
Like so, once I got the ball rolling a little bit, they just kind of took over, which was great. Yeah, which is. A really
is that the
cool
only
thing.
time you've ever really felt something like that?
I mean, I don't know about that.
Okay.
I think the Eric, Adam, and Cade one had a similar vibes in terms of just like a group of guys who've known each other for a long time and were able to bounce off each other with memories. But this was a good one. Ton of out of context stuff. Yeah. A lot of Kai Grubbs laughing and wheezing into the camera. Aiden was like outside. He was in Oki at the time. Yeah. Henry didn't say as much, but when he did, it was a banger. Yeah. These guys are awesome, and I think their friend group is really funny. Yeah. Like they have a really funny dynamic, and I was enjoying every set. I don't think I stopped smiling. Yeah. So I think this is like high end Shammy Worthy.
Okay.
I don't know
not
if this
quite.
is divine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll
go high end Shammy Worthy.
Okay, so no, don't do
there you
that.
go.
What's your major?
Nope.
What's your major gonna be?
Okay, next one is mine, and again, I feel kind of weird grading my own episodes. This was cool because
I've been doing it for all of them, by the way. I'm in all of them.
Yeah.
All my own episodes.
That is how that works, though. Yeah. So I mean, this was a cool one. We really just this kind of doing what we were doing here. But just to a smaller scale, just kind of reflecting. This was the first one, my idea, kind of, because we never, obviously, this is Shannon's show, so we were never going to get an episode about Shannon himself. So the first, I think 12 minutes or so, I just try to ask him some questions. Questions are a lot better than the ones I did earlier today. But, I mean, we didn't have hot ones, which we were able to get this time. Yeah. And then, we just talked about, the origins of the Shannon show. And this is definitely a lore deep episode, if anything. Yeah. So again, in and of itself, in a vacuum, it's not the most interesting. But again, of someone that enjoys this kind of content.
If you enjoy the lore,
cool. If you enjoy the lore, you're gonna like
you need to watch. Yeah. You did a great job. I mean, this was you showing your growth, I guess, in the pod, going from Gents of the Round Table to like basically hosting this show. Right. And it was cool to be in the other seat for once, and just be sitting next to you as well. Also,
yeah, that's right.
We've always wanted to do it in person, and there you are up at Penn State, and it was a good 45 minutes there. Yeah. So. It was really fun. It was quality stuff. We had the 2 different camera angles, I think, and I enjoyed every second. I mean, that was great, especially leading up to the Shammies. Next one. Yeah,
Shammy worthy, pretty solid.
I would say so. Yeah.
Okay, here we go. I have the episode 63, the 2021 Shammy Awards. So this definitely evolved more from the first one. Now,
Yeah.
I mean, we'll talk about the last one hopefully sometime.
This is a
in the end.
huge jump.
It was a
from the
big
first
jump.
one, yeah.
The amount of people you were able to have on there
Yeah.
and just the whole, I mean, all the graphics that went into it.
Yeah.
I still haven't gotten my own little shammy thing, but
Ah,
hopefully
yeah.
someday. But yeah, I mean, it was really cool. I personally think that, we'll talk about the third one, that is the true pinnacle of a Shammy Award. So I do think this is part of the process,
Yeah.
but it was still a lot of fun to be a part of.
Yeah, so this is my first attempt of booking a show like this. You know, in a regular group episode, you have people throughout the entire show.
Sure.
Now I'm breaking it into increments.
That's right, yeah.
So now
Yeah,
we're
people-
living in this world where we're in real time.
Yeah.
We're having people join the show that's
Yeah.
pre-recorded.
Yeah.
Because it's not live stream. So
Right.
it's difficult because you want to cut off the segments and having people on. And
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun. We had the awards. This is the first time where we did the Guest of the Year tournament.
That's
Johnny
right. That's
Hoppy,
right. Yep.
Which is
What's too
extensive
soon?
and you want to talk about that? No.
No.
I mean those are a lot of fun on the
Yeah.
Instagram stories. It's a ton of work, but
Yeah.
it's worth it, man. I think people really enjoy it, and one thing I hate is I wish I did better on that logo. I think my logo in the third one is much better.
Yeah. Game
So
goes up. Yeah.
I could have done a little bit better. There's not a lot of contrast between that
Yeah.
stripe and the logo. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah.
Eric was great in that, by
Yeah,
the way.
he
When
was
he
cool.
came in, he was
cool.
real
on the back
classy.
of a
And you
limo or
co-hosted
something.
it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
We had our hats on. We were
keeping
cooking.
this role with Shammy Worthy? Is that what we're keeping here?
Keeping it chamois worthy with the chamois?
Yeah.
I don't.
Might as
it
well.
don't matter to me. What is that? 63?
Yeah.
What is it? Oh my God! Yeah,
Look at
5 in
that.
a row.
That might
That's
be
a good stretch. That might be the best single stretch, right?
100%. Not to say that this next one's bad either.
that
Avi
was
from Morning Formation,
Yeah.
episode 64. Again, I'm trying to remember what exactly his connection was. I know that you have the
Yeah.
next guy, KP. They're kind of in the
Yes,
same.
He's the host, and he
yeah.
still hosts it.
Okay.
So Avi, he was the producer of the podcast at the time, and now he's going to school in Arizona.
Okay.
And he was a big robotics guy. Obviously, he's a tech guy producing the podcast. Military kid. I think his mom was in, which is always interesting. Change it up because most people have their dads obviously in the service. But he was a good guest. Another person I'm meeting for the first time.
Yeah.
And KP actually recommended that I interviewed him.
Okay.
And he's very well articulated.
Yeah.
And he's well spoken. And
it's cool because I've seen him comment on things before. Like he stays engaged.
yeah, he stays
That's the
engaged.
cool
Yes,
thing.
yes, he's absolutely in the lore. I comment on his stuff
Yeah.
too. I think he's a really cool guy,
Yeah.
and we both joke about KP as well because KP, he's a boomer.
Yeah.
He's got that boomer
That's funny.
humor.
I didn't know that concept.
So
That's funny.
we joke
dynamic.
about that,
That's
and
cool.
I'm back at home in that one, so
There
that's
you go.
also
There you go.
that's also.
So we going good stuff with this? Or?
Good stuff.
Yeah. So solid.
64. And then this next one, I'm just gonna say
Go ahead, yeah.
because this KP, so he hosts the show.
Yeah.
And this was actually an Instagram live.
That's
I
right.
asked him to come on the show, and he's like, I'll do an IG live.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's fair, because he
Yeah.
has a big Instagram following, so it was good for him. And we bounced some questions back and forth. It was totally fine. It wasn't anything crazy. I don't want to call it mid, but it was an IG live, so it's not even an actual podcast.
Yeah.
I don't have my actual mic on me.
I think that's fair.
That's I guess that's fair.
We'll keep it there. But cool to get an actual service member on.
Yeah, actual veteran, service member.
I think it was cool for him too to see your perspective.
Sure,
on things.
yeah, and he's got one of the largest podcasts in military podcasting.
That's so cool.
No joke. So it was cool to have him on, and I'm a
That's some
I'm
big
a fan
fish,
of
man.
his.
There
That's
you
a
go.
big fish.
Okay, Max Widely. This
about
one
this one.
was
You
so
talk about
weird.
this one.
I mean, it's. I think it's the shortest one. It's even shorter than Cadence's, right?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Very interesting. I don't know what the background. I think y'all were both in Tampa at the same time.
Yeah.
And Max phenomenal as part of the trial. George Glover, absolutely hilarious. Some of the stuff that he came up. But again, one of those guests he just didn't elaborate on a lot. And I think when you look at the timestamps, it shows that.
Well, I think that I prepared for that though. I knew who Max was, and this is an example of me kind of growing because I think that earlier in the podcast I would have tried to have a 40-minute episode with him, and it would have dragged on.
Okay.
But this one, I was like, I'm gonna have rapid fire, 30 questions.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna try and make him laugh as much as possible.
Yeah, which I mean,
And
that
I
could
literally
happen.
at one point I go, "How big's your dick?"
Yeah,
I said, "Pee-pee's
yeah.
on." He's like, "What, man?" He's
That's
another
true.
guy, which is great just to make him laugh. And I made him fold a paper airplane
Yeah,
every time
yeah.
he drank water.
Yeah.
I made Minecraft.
So the
drinking
preparation,
noises.
that, like you're saying, I do see that evolution. That's interesting. Yeah.
So that was good. I think that it was also more comfortable for him.
Yeah.
It was cool we got to do it in person.
Yeah.
In person one is cool. So
Oh yeah.
I would call it good stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah,
how you feel.
go for it.
66, and I got to use the XU Order 66 for that
There you go.
that meme as well. So. Not
Easy.
good stuff. There we go.
Okay, so we got the bloomers. coming
Return
back
to the
on.
Bloomers.
Plus, what, Dr. Crystal, is that her name?
Yes.
What was her?
Dr. Crystal Lewis. So she works at the National Military Family Association.
Okay.
And they did this big survey on the military kid population about their career path and their food security and all sorts of things.
Yeah.
So that's where we talked about that.
Okay.
And it was a really nice blend of having the fun with the bloomers again, like joking around, but also talking about like the more serious issues.
Sure.
So I was
an interesting dynamic. You think it worked well? Again, I didn't really.
I thought so. Yeah,
Okay.
I was proud of how it worked. I think there's another one where audio only came out on one side.
Man.
We don't have to talk about it.
Happens.
I was happy with it. And Dr. Crystal Lewis, she obviously was a real good sport with all those stupid questions as well, which I love. So
I'll give this one to you again. Yeah.
I would go Shammy with it just because of the research that they did. And they came to me. They're like, hey, we did all this research. We want to come on your show.
Yeah.
And talk
they reached out. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that meant a lot to me.
I respect that.
And that was just kind of the next step in my relationship with Bloom.
I respect
and
that.
Sexual tension.
This is another one where if you had told us before we did the sham, he's like, bro, you're going to have, with all due respect, a barracks bunny come on. And she's an awesome personality though. I mean, for her to come, for her to come back on the Shammies, we'll talk about that later. I have this as S tier. Because of how random it is, because of how out of pocket it is, and again, she has no filter. And that makes for good content.
No, it was a roller coaster. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know what I was really getting myself into. So Dana is like a friend of a friend for me. A friend of Corinne, who I don't have on until later, oddly. So I had her friend Insane Dana.
Yeah.
She actually goes by, like, her Instagram name is Insane Dana. She gave me permission to use that, which I think really encapsulates the episode. Yeah, it was a roller coaster. It gave a lot of great out of context clips. She's a handful, man. She's a little pistol. Is that the right use of that? Right use of the pistol? I hope so. I hope that's not offensive. But yeah, trying to reel her in. I'm like, whoa. And other times I'm like, keep elaborating.
Yeah.
It was one of those that I'm like, man, I hope kids aren't listening.
Yeah, right.
That was definitely one of those.
Oh man.
You have it in sure, we'll keep it in S.
Go next.
Yeah.
Have you put it? You already put it. Okay. All right. 69.
Nice.
Back. Gotta love
Dana
it.
wanted to be 69.
Yeah. So
I
you
was like, I don't have another one, so
couldn't quite do it. Yeah. Chunk, I think his first episode was phenomenal.
Yeah.
When you guys were kind of going off that shared knowledge. This one I think was mostly about his album, right?
Yes.
And I think we've talked about it before. It did. I mean, was it more like promotion kind of stuff, or?
Yeah. So we basically went track by track.
Yeah.
I've seen other podcasts do this where they like do an album breakdown.
Right.
And I thought it was really cool. They made an album, and I reached out. I'm like, hey man, if you want to do that on the podcast, like I'd be happy to showcase what you've worked on.
Again, that's you trying something new.
Yes,
right?
exactly. So this was trying something new, and I mean, not my genre.
Yeah.
The breakcore or whatever he calls it, where it's just like beats.
Yeah.
But it's still really cool stuff. I call it video game music. I don't know if that's offensive, but I think he's still doing some cool things. He's always funny. There's a great story about me and Tor in the bathroom in that episode.
That's right.
Which is always fun. But yeah, Andrew, I always love having Andrew on the show.
Yeah, good stuff.
But this one in particular, I would say mid personally. But he's had so many great moments.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, it happens. If I can be part of a train wreck,
he
can be part of a. Okay, Jennifer Rivera. This was a really cool one. Because I don't think you'd had a
slightly underrated
former Kubi person. Yeah. As in not way back, but like 90s.
Yeah.
On the show before. That was really interesting to see the dynamic of what had come before and now what you had experienced, man. That was really cool.
Yeah, she was just a real nice person. She wanted to come on the show. She's still running her own podcast.
She found you?
Yeah, I think so. I think she reached out to me.
Yeah.
And she's starting her own podcast called Mixed Dandelions, where she talks about being mixed race and growing up in the military. Yeah. And she's doing some great stuff. I like her show. She's had me on her show multiple times, I think. Yeah. Or maybe just once. Maybe once or twice I've been on her show.
That's cool.
And yeah, it was just really cool to hear her perspective. Kubasaki, we joked about like some Oki things. So it was definitely new. Yeah. And yeah, I think I would put this in just good stuff.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, I think this is one. If I had keep going, this would definitely be a shrug one. Because again, like I mean, cool. So this you always have some kind of concept going on. So her name is Haley, right? She's got two parents in the military, right? Obviously, most of the time you have one. So again, an interesting concept, but again, you'll have to tell me how you think.
This is a good example of whenever you have someone on the show that you don't know, it's a lottery. Like, you don't know what's going to happen. Like, you're taking a big risk there. And she wasn't bad by any means. No. It was just like we didn't build the connection as well as I did with other people, which is like totally normal and expected when you're talking to someone for the very first time for 40 minutes while it's being recorded. Oh, it's you this time. Yeah, about time. So that's just totally expected. And this wasn't, I wouldn't call it a train wreck because that's not fair to her. You know, I also don't think I did a bad job per se. It was just what it was. It was an episode where two people don't really know each other and trying to have a conversation on the internet.
Is this the definition of mid?
I think it might be.
Yeah, this might be if you're thinking about this is it right here. Okay. Yeah. Awesome wing. This guy, this is kind of, I wouldn't say the complete opposite.
Yeah,
but you didn't know this guy, but it kind of seemed like y'all had that chemistry right away.
Very quickly. Yeah. This is one where like I try a few of my like bad jokes, and then he's like rolling with them. I'm like, okay, well, this is
this is gonna be my guy. Yeah. Because I don't know if there's been someone that's moved as much as him.
That's a lot. Yeah, that's
11
a lot.
plus. I mean, you had it right there in the thumbnail. So. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it seemed like a lot of fun. Again, one that I didn't watch all the way, but it's one that you can go back and you can see segments of. That's, this guy's got that awesome energy.
He's funny. He took me outside to like show me his Jeep and shit like, during the show, and he's like pouring pineapple juice. Like, I'm like, okay, dog, like, you do you, man. And he's just a lot of energy, which I really appreciate. Yeah, he's one of those people. He asked me to come on the show, and I gave him a chance, and he came in and he was ready and he was prepared and he just took it and ran. Yeah. So this is good stuff for me.
Okay, go for it. Okay, 73. Skylar Clement, another guy we know from Kubi. Yeah. So again, another kind of a throwback kind of style. Although again, this was from a side of things that you hadn't really explored before, right? This is of course the football. Which again, not being a part of that, I think it might have been a little harder to actually
took away a little bit.
Yeah, it took away a little bit. Again, a solid conversation. He's a good dude, but nothing that I think puts it above, again, like a mid.
I think this is absolutely mid episode. I was really because he's an Okie and I woke up early for this one, so I just like looked tired. Yeah, I was kind of dead. He's another guy who's just like really chill personality, kind of laid back guy. So not that much in depth or exciting storytelling. Sure. But he also every question I asked him, he answered to the best of his ability, which you can't ask for much more than that in an interview. So he did a good job. It's just once again, it's just the nature of the show. I didn't know Skylar that well. He's a really chill guy. I'll always be open to have him on the podcast. But
maybe as another one as a group could
a group would be really. If I've had like
because I've seen him be funny before.
Yeah, exactly. If I had a group of football guys, then that would have been a banger, I'm sure. But that's just nature of the beast.
Yep, solid mid. I guess that's how it works. Yeah. Okay, episode 74, Corinne. Again, you know a lot more of that backstory, but again, just even me as someone from an outsider, seeing y'all together and seeing that chemistry, it always brings a smile to my face, man.
It's good, man. Yeah. It's good. She's great. I've known her for a very long time, since middle school. I have a whole chapter dedicated to her in the book, which is kind of ridiculous. I don't know what I'm thinking. But yeah, we met up in Hong Kong back when I was living in Okie, and she's someone I consider to be one of my best friends. So it was cool to have her come up to Penn State and be in person, and she kind of flamed the hell out of me several times. She's one of those people who's not scared. That's part of like having that connection to someone where they're not scared to like throw me under the bus or something, because she doesn't care. That's my podcast. She's great. So I enjoyed having her on the show. What you want to rank it? I can rank it.
Yeah, go ahead. You got it.
I would say Shammy worthy.
Shammy worthy. Okay. Yeah. Again, that energy once you have two people together, it's great. It's unmatched. Okay, episode 75. Again, this is probably a shrug one for me, although I can obviously tell that it's a good. Is it one of those underrated ones?
I would say the most underrated.
Wow. Okay.
I really do think that. Okay. This conversation that we had that was very in depth, and Grace is great, and I've been on her show multiple times now. Just the openness that we had in this conversation was something that I had not done in any of the other episodes. Wow. Okay. I really went in depth about what it was like for me and my dad going through deployments and maintaining that communication. Yeah. And she did the same thing, and she went through her whole entire story in incredible depth. Yeah. And it was a more serious tone. Yeah. But I think it was just really revealing and really a productive conversation to be shared online. This is one where I did not have that expectation at all. I didn't know where I was going to go. I'm not sure how prepared I was.
So I might have missed it.
She's a podcast host. She hosts Grace of a Military Child and Wife and Spouses and yada yada yada. And she's very active on Instagram. She's an incredible.
Yeah, I've seen y'all. Yeah. Promoting your stuff.
She's great. Yeah, and this is a really good episode. Now, if we did it again, would it reach this? But I'm not sure. But just because we had that material to talk about, we were both open about talking about it.
And it created a great relationship.
It did, yeah. She's absolutely fantastic. So I would say Shammy worthy.
Go for it. Yeah, go for it.
Oh, we're gonna have to.
Another
Start
dude, we got
another one. Chamois word. There's a lot of
another one.
man. Maybe we need to have more chamois words because there's a lot of chamois worthy.
Okay, here we go. Episode 76. Lindy Ross. She comes back on.
Yeah, you watched a lot of that one. Huh?
Yeah. Again, just I think 5 minutes in, she says something like, "You know what? All Americans are racist." And to be fair, again, she can have her own opinion.
Sure.
But I remember seeing this and you making jokes about, "Oh yeah, there's gonna be a trilogy." Right?
Yeah,
and I started dying. I was like,
episode
"No way."
100. The Lindy Ross trilogy is completed. That's absolutely right.
Nothing gets me more just
Yeah.
enthused than this. But yeah, I don't know if you can kind of compare this one to the first one, if you remember as
It's the
much
same
about
exact
it.
shit.
Was it the
same shit.
I love it.
It's just the update on Lindy's life and
Yeah.
sororities and all that good stuff.
So
This is me just
nothing-
letting her cook. And,
Yep.
she's like a tried and true formula. Like
Mhm.
I let her come on, she does her thing, and
Yeah.
it's good. It's just good stuff.
Yeah.
I know you'll never sit down and watch an hour and a half of us chatting, but I
Yeah.
absolutely love it.
Okay. So 77, Josh Jackson, another guy we know.
Little underrated.
Yeah. I mean, I think he was Air Force. So is that what it was?
He's in the Air Force.
So again, I think you've covered almost all the bases now.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot.
I
Yeah.
don't feel like you've had a Coast Guard and then obviously Space Force. Those
Well,
guys
we're
are
not
personal.
planning on that.
Right, we're not. Well, yeah, at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's again a guy. I think he was able to carry it pretty well.
Yeah.
And then you guys talked about Mr. West a little bit. That was
did.
funny. Cool
We
clips
talked
there.
about how
But
he mistook a condom for ramen
That's
seasoning,
right, that's
which
right.
is always fun. We
Yeah.
talked about this was great because we talked about that Kubi baseball team.
Yeah.
I had not
That's
had
right,
anyone.
yeah.
This is the
Yeah.
first opportunity I was
had
able
you
to do
had
that.
the view from above
That
out
came
at that point?
later, I
That came
believe.
later.
I'm
Okay.
pretty sure that came
Okay.
later. So this was a great kind of prompting that, and
Yeah.
kind of bringing up that point of conversation, which
Yeah.
in 77 episodes
Yeah,
in, I
it
never
took a-
really
yeah.
mentioned it.
Yeah, never had a
which
chance.
is really a new thing to talk about.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right.
Josh was great.
But you got it.
Yeah, good stuff.
Good stuff. Let's do it.
Oh, 77.
Yeah. Okay. So we're talking about Gracie again. Again, we talked about how in the first one, just not
like
that
episode
dynamic
10.
wasn't quite there. I think it was here. Again, I
Sure,
didn't watch
yeah,
the
yeah.
most, but it seemed like she was a lot more open at this point. I think you were a little bit
Yeah.
more prepared. At
It was
this
more
point.
me. She was
Yeah.
always open.
Yeah.
This was never Gracie's fault.
Okay.
She will talk my ear off.
Yeah.
She's a great guest.
Yeah.
It was just me having good questions prepared.
Yeah.
And at this point, I was more used to having just kind of like frantic, not frantic, but hectic
Yeah,
episodes talking about all sorts of different things.
Right.
Like she thinks Helen Keller was a fraud and a
Yes, right.
liar,
Yeah.
which is a great talking point.
Yeah.
We talked about partying safely as well,
Mhm.
which is also, I guess that makes her look like a party animal. Which I guess, and I don't know if that's completely fair, but she did a good job of doing that. And that also tied into, I had a chapter in my book essentially
right.
about like safely consuming alcohol
Right.
and then,
Right.
how to have fun in high school without getting in trouble.
Yeah.
And so that conversation was something that kind of prompted a part of my book. So
There you go.
There you
Yeah,
go.
that's really cool.
I'd say
Some
that's
stuff
up
as
to
well?
good stuff.
Yeah.
Considering her last one was mid
Yeah.
promotion.
Definitely
78.
improvement on that. Okay, Kite Metke. This was really cool.
I really like this one.
Yeah, I like this one. This is again just an issue where you had just talked about Josh
Yeah.
previous Kubi baseball. Now it's
Yeah.
like again we're going towards that niche community, but it's in the future now. It's something. It's now you kind of as someone that's already seen it, looking at someone
Yeah.
who's I don't know if he was in it particularly
He
at
had
that
just
point,
left, I
but he had
think.
just
I was
left.
just getting ready to go
so
to
just really
Vegas,
cool,
yeah.
interesting, and be able to get an update on kind of like what that world looks like now.
He had just graduated from
Yeah.
Kubasaki, actually.
Yeah.
I think he was still in Oak and he was moving to UNLV very soon.
Okay.
And yeah, man, just like hearing his perspective on tour
Yeah,
and like Far
yeah.
East baseball, and it was just seeing like the next generation,
Right.
like actually the next generation of Kubi athletes.
Yeah.
And having him on the show, there was so many things we could like talk about and joke about because we had like shared those
Yeah.
experiences, but through a different lens and
Right.
through a few years difference. Kite was fantastic. Another
Yeah.
guy I didn't really know,
Yeah.
but I kind of just reached out. I'm like, hey, I'm looking to have some current Kubi baseball
Yeah.
players on. He's
Yeah.
like, I'll do it.
Yeah.
So respect to him, and yeah, he put forth a great spot on
He
the
did.
show.
Pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
Man, that tier list is going to be
Yeah, man,
interesting.
it's gonna be
Okay, Davis. So yeah, okay. So we talked about this early. He had
Return
come
of
on,
Davis, yeah.
right? He had come on with his brother. You definitely can tell he's a little
Yeah, a little
older now,
older, yeah.
right? And did y'all kind of I don't want to say rehash, but talk a lot about similar stuff? I mean, again, I didn't really.
Yeah, so this is him. So beforehand, they were prepping to go on the boat. So
Okay.
they were prepping for the pirate lifestyle, talking about all the things that go into getting ready for being homeschooled and living on a boat full time.
Yeah.
This is after.
Oh wow!
So
okay,
this is like
that's
the
cool.
recap. So this
Yeah.
is him recapping some of the coolest things that happened while he was living at the
Yeah,
seas.
yeah,
So it's just a really cool concept.
Yeah.
And Yeah, he's another guy who's like really chill, not as open. You got to get him to open up a little bit more. But he's great. He's a really smart kid, and he was, I don't know. I mean, for his age, to come on to live through that experience and then come on the show and speak about it.
But talk to her about almost an hour about it. And again, that speaks to you to being able to evolve.
A little bit, sure.
Yeah, to be able to do that. It's cool stuff. I mean, I think we're just solid
stuff.
I think this is just solid stuff, you know. Okay, episode 81. I saw a little bit more of this one. This is with Eliza. I think she was a classmate of ours, and she was in Italy at the time. Pretty cool background, actually. I think she was up on a balcony or something.
Yeah, she was.
And again, she seems like really smart girl. She got a lot to say. I mean, nothing to elaborate on that one.
Italy, she was good, man. She was she did some drama with Miss Davis, which God bless her soul for doing that. I can't remember too much, but she was really sweet, and she was, I mean, over an hour, right?
Yeah.
So that speaks to that conversation. That speaks to that. There you go, man.
Good stuff, I guess.
Well, we'll just
at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, Athens. So I don't know. Had your book come out at this point? Because she's another author, correct?
I'm holding it right there. I think that may have been the first one when my book was out.
Okay. But this was in that process
that was
as the hyper.
Very close.
Yeah. So and that was an interesting connection that you were able to have with her, right?
No. She's a children's book author, and I bought her book so I can hold it up and show everyone, which is very nice of me. So I was promoting her book and promoting her work, and it's just a totally different genre, but she does a great job. And the main characters of her stories, she has a new one coming out soon, so follow her. It's like At the Military Child Chronicles, and
is it kind of like a theme?
It's a theme. So her kids are the main characters, and they're going through this military adventure, of moving to new places. And she's won like Military Spouse of the Year for 2 different bases. So she does a lot of stuff beyond just writing the books, I can imagine, and she's just a fantastic military spouse and someone that I'm sure any military family would want closely connected to them.
Yeah. I think we're just the rest of it might just be up. It sounds about right.
Obvious,
Oh man. Okay. I mean, this is your sister, man.
Yeah, man.
This must have been such a cool. Again, literally, maybe only you two, maybe your family could really get into it. But I think it's really cool to see 2 different dynamics from the same family and how they actually saw the same events from different perspectives. That was really cool.
Yeah. The funny thing about this is we tried so many times to record it. Yeah. And she's Alex, she's the best. She just has a very, very unique personality. And I think like talking on the camera, she gets a little nervous. But once you get her comfortable, like she starts rolling. We have so many inside jokes that we go back and forth with, and she's great. And it was really cool to be able to talk to her for that long too, and rehash some of her moves, and I'll just like shoot the shit. Like we're talking like Star Wars and stuff. Like there's so many little things that we were able to do there, and I was just happy she was.
Didn't you get her perspective on things in the book as well?
Yeah. So throughout the book, like it was like, hey, this was how it was for me, but also like this could be the perspective from the same family for the same move.
Right.
So it is crazy how 2 siblings who are going through the exact same transitions can see things completely different. There's multiple places where I was like, oh, I don't want to move, and she's like, hell yeah, you know.
Right, a little different.
Yeah, and she's doing great. She's graduating from high school soon, so I'm very proud of her. That was a fun one.
We're just keeping the grind, or.
I'll bump up the chamois.
Okay.
You know,
There you go.
I'm not gonna do her like that.
Might as well. Okay, Phoebe. This was don't hit that.
Danny Posse. Underrated.
Not quite. Yeah.
All right, Phoebe.
Phoebe. This was cool. So she's Kinnick girl, correct?
Yes, she went to Kinnick.
Yeah, that's right. And this one was, I mean, again, you'd had people that you'd never talked to before, but this was one where I was really like, wow, this.
5 minutes.
What was that?
Hour and 4 minutes.
Yeah. This was one where it almost felt natural. I mean, I don't know if you had the same perspective on that, but.
Yeah, I think I could have done a little bit better job at times. That's just kind of from what I remember. I feel like there was a few like questions I asked and she answered. I don't know if we were completely on the same page. Yeah. So maybe I could have formed it a little bit better. But she's someone who's just like really talkative, really happy to be on the show, and I always appreciate people like that. Like I said, it's hit or miss when it's someone you don't know. Yeah. And this was probably a hit.
Okay.
Smash. Fuck! God! I want to go back in the footage and find that too. Oh no. God. Or we leave.
Hey, we are so
stuff,
close, bro.
84.
We are so close. Come on. 51.
Well, I said hit.
Yeah. Okay. Danny Posse.
This was good, man.
This one's so fun. Dude, when he said all bricked up, that might be the funniest. Kai Krog's awesome, but that might be the funniest out of context. He knew what he was doing. Yeah. Just such an. I think there was a deleted episode of him earlier on.
There was a while ago.
That might be the winning Jeopardy question on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Just such an awesome personality. Just his stories that he was able to tell. I do think I agree with you. One of the most underrated ones for sure.
Yeah, he was great, man. And what bums me out is there was a part of this episode where he asked me to take out, where he said some more out of pocket.
Did he?
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
It's like
covered out for
respectfully.
him, but yeah, he was really good, man.
Yeah.
It's just he got to do some really cool traveling of the world, and he got to stay with his like. I'm not going to go in depth. You can go watch it.
Definitely.
But he
85.
was 85. Mark it down.
Yeah, I don't know if we've been saying the
Shamey worthy.
Yeah.
85.
100%. Willow and Kayla. I think they took both of what were great in their episodes. They were able to combine it together, and again, they were two people that knew each other so well.
Yeah.
Again, I didn't watch the whole thing, so I don't know if it all came together well.
My favorite part of this was seeing how Willow had changed since becoming a sorority girl.
Oh yeah,
so
dude,
Willow
that's
before,
right. Some of
she's
her...
like really innocent coming out of high school, just like really, I'm going back to the States to be best, and now full on sorority.
Yeah.
And that's not a shot at Willow. Willow's the best, and she still had the same personality and absolutely brought it for this episode. But yeah, and I got to talk about her and Kayla's friendship, which is just awesome because they're very close, and it started in Okinawa, and then it's been maintained over distance, which is one of the biggest challenges that military kids face. So
that's so cool.
Being able to talk about that, and then also Kayla is doing really cool things with the Marine Corps. Being a combat cameraman, she's like taking all these different pictures, and she's gonna post on the main Marines page. So yeah, she's also incredibly talented. She's always been incredibly talented since high school. So yeah, having them together, really cool.
Yeah, good stuff.
We'll say good stuff though. That is upper end.
It's up there.
Stuff.
Okay.
There's also a point where like I had just been there's something we were repeating. I just completely spazzed out in the middle of that episode. I don't know what part it was, but like I just completely.
I don't remember. I might have to find that
what
one.
He said it was like some like sorority thing she kept on saying. Like some I don't know.
I think I remember what you're talking about.
It wasn't slay, but it's like one of those things.
Yeah. Okay, this is another shrug one for me. Again, I think it's a cool.
I hated this.
Oh,
that's so mean of me. Curly is fantastic. So she's trying. It's a military child life. It was not her fault. Well, I hated this because of me. Because I'm too good at what I do to have an episode like this.
Okay.
Because first of all, I just
watch that movie. Anyway,
I walked all the way home from school on like a summer day. So like I'm like my hair's all over the place. My Zoom camera, it's only my Zoom camera, so it's low quality. I don't have my phone set up for some reason, or I didn't record, or something happened. And then I was giving her all these like really hard hitting military kid questions where she was just like she was very new in it. Yeah. Like she was very new at It's a Military Child in Life, and she was like their program director, and she's like just getting into it, and she was like really coming on the show I think for some growth and some support, which is great. And I love their account. They're doing awesome things. But I think I was a little hard with the questions.
Interesting.
Because I want to talk about really.
Did you know that coming into it?
I mean, I didn't know. I didn't know her. So I wanted to have her on the show. And then there's someone else. Their social media manager was also supposed to come on, but she had COVID. And she was sick. And
so it's supposed to be okay.
So it's supposed to be a 3-person thing.
Yeah.
So Curly, very sweet, very nice, an absolute amazing military spouse and mom from what I could pick up. But I asked her some hard hitting questions about the military kid community and what we can do to be better. And I think that she wasn't overwhelmed. Like she took them with grace, but like looking back, that was not the time to be pulling out those sorts of
big
questions. Yeah. It just wasn't necessary. Okay.
Well, I mean, it's cool that you're able to reflect on your own.
For sure.
You know, stuff.
I don't hate it. That was but mid.
Yeah. Okay.
87.
Right. Episode 88. This was, a highlight in what we've seen a lot.
I love this one.
I think if we just look at the stuff, it's been a lot of solid stuff, but again, nothing that to write home about, if I'm being honest. I think this one, again, I was like, yo, we are finishing this trilogy. The trilogy I wanted most to see finished. You brought in Dr. Augustine Casales there for some very interesting dynamics there. Yeah. But again, what more is there to say about Kenna and what a phenomenal guest she is? And again, 3rd different place now in Ecuador.
This is how you wrap up a trilogy, dog.
She killed it.
She was awesome. Great backdrop. Just to see how she's changed over the 3 episodes is really cool. And now she's in Ecuador and she's like talking through a morning routine. We're making like poop jokes. Yeah. And I love the comfort level she has on the show. Yeah. And it was just really smooth. It took a while to schedule this one, if I remember right. Yeah. Like this was in the works for a while. So when it finally happened, I was just really excited to share it with everyone. Yeah. This is divine for me.
Divine. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I definitely have a shaming worthy at least, but we'll do that.
I put it up there because especially like in these later episodes as we get closer to wrapping it up. Yeah. This was one that I'm like, I still got it. You know? Let me cook.
Yeah. All right. 89. This was Kai Grubb's babysitters, right? Yeah. Shrug shoulders. Again, this is another one where I don't know.
This was interesting because she was a State Department kid, so her dad worked at like embassies and stuff. Okay. So she's moving to like very unique locations.
Yeah.
She's moving to places where there's no military
Interesting.
kids.
Okay.
So usually, like, we talk about having the military kid community, she's moving to places where they don't even have that.
Yeah.
She's, like, literally just out in the wilderness on her own.
Yeah.
Wilderness is a little strong, but, you know, like, in a foreign country.
Yeah.
So that was a really unique perspective. I'd say it's slightly underrated, but nothing crazy.
Yeah.
I would just say good stuff.
Good stuff. Go for it. Again, I think I can say the same thing, but I think was she part of Bloom? Is that where the connection?
Don't think so. No,
Oh.
I think she filled out my form on the website.
Okay, well, there you go. Okay, yeah. Again,
Very
didn't
nice
really
of her to
watch
join me. Kind of grabs his babysitter. So there
Yeah.
you go. And then,
I was talking about the next one.
oh, Kate.
Yeah, my bad. I'd already.
Oh, she's a part of Bloom. Yeah.
Yeah,
My
okay,
bad.
yeah.
My bad. My
You're
bad.
good, you're
My bad. Yeah, Kate is a part of Bloom.
Yeah.
She makes TikToks for them. And
Yeah.
She makes pretty good TikToks. They're pretty funny.
Mm.
And she's a content creator. She's young. She's motivated.
Interesting
and
little thumbnail you got there too.
That's the picture she gave me.
Oh well. Okay.
I
There you
asked, can I have a picture of you for the thumbnail? And
Yeah.
she's like, yeah. So I'm like, fair enough. I respect it. So yeah, and then this is the new thumbnail design that
That's
I
right. That's
started
right.
using for
Yep.
the new
For the last season, pretty much, yeah.
And I was pretty happy with it.
Yeah.
It looks pretty good, and I had like an animation or whatever. That's not
Sure.
important, but I do feel a little bad, Johnny, because this was during a Phillies playoff game.
So you missed the playoff game?
No,
of this,
I feel bad because I kind of rushed it. How long is it? 29 minutes.
Oh wow! So
I
you were
rushed it
getting
so I could watch the
cuts.
Phillies.
Oh wow!
I don't know if it was the
man.
NLDS or the NLCS.
Yeah.
But listen, man.
Gotta do what
I'm
you gotta
sorry,
do,
Kate.
right?
You were great. You ended up coming back for the chamois.
Yeah.
But I had to watch the Phils.
Yeah.
Like, I'm literally wearing my Phillies
We know
jersey in the episode.
We know
too.
where his priorities
Yeah,
are.
so
That's
I'm
funny.
just saying. So
That's
good stuff.
funny. There you go. Okay, spooky special 3, man. I mean, is this what do you have the other ones in Divine, right? Does this keep the streak going?
This is a step lower.
Okay.
A step
okay.
lower, same dynamic, but I think that rehashing the things for the third time,
Yeah.
a little bit less
sometimes.
exciting.
Okay.
Sexy costume draft.
That was good. I did like
like that?
I
Yeah.
like that. I did like that.
I enjoyed that. It was kind of panel preposterous.
Sure,
but
sure.
we could tie it into Halloween.
Right.
Yeah, these guys are great. I'd say this is chamois worthy, but
Yeah.
probably not Divine.
Yeah.
91. Sorry, those ones are confusing.
Jenna Carlton, this was an interesting one. Kind of came out of left field, but as low key been a very niche thing also
Yeah.
within the community.
Yeah.
She had that cool little song that she made.
Yeah.
And again, just a very interesting perspective. I'll go for it.
The meme war.
The meme, that's right.
That's why this is chamois worthy.
That's right.
Because
That's right.
she
I need to pull
challenged
this up
me
again.
to a meme
That's
war
right.
during this episode. So not only do we have a great conversation, I went on her show as well, her
Yeah.
Vet Chat show, which is like totally like unnecessary
Yeah.
because I'm not a veteran, but she
Right.
had me on anyways. We had a great conversation. And yeah, I absolutely love this episode. She challenged me to a meme war, and it led to a full on meme war.
It did.
She didn't hold back, man.
No, there was a couple. I remember I texted
Yeah.
you. I was like, "Yo,
Yeah, like,
that one
whoa,
was
she
good.
got you. She got you.
that was good."
See, I'm going
Oh,
chamois.
man.
Wait, last one I said chamois, right?
Yeah.
I put that in the wrong one. There we go, 91.
Yeah.
Sorry, I guess
Let's see what
confusing.
you're
We got
doing.
all sorts of shit going on here.
All good. Okay, Penn State whiteout. This one was one that was probably the most off the cuff episode ever because we
Sir.
were literally out in the tailgate and Shannon was like, he's been pestering me this whole time. Yo, we gotta do it. We gotta do it. He was like, all right, let's do it. I ended up just being the cameraman. It was
Because
supposed
you
to be.
refused to be a part
Oh,
of
yeah,
something that
yeah.
wasn't divine.
No, 100%. And you know, again, this was supposed to be Owen's own episode. I think 5 minutes in, you were like, you know what? Let's bring in everyone else that's here. So we bring in Brett Brown, we bring in Dr. Augustine Gonzalez. Again, just the energy of this one is unique and,
Yeah.
and something you just again, it's an in person with multiple people in a totally unique
And
environment.
a tailgate.
In a tailgate.
Penn State whiteout tailgate.
But yeah, and I mean,
it's a big deal.
And the little video you had at the end was
Yeah,
pretty
you
hype
like that?
too.
Yeah.
So I mean, again, it's just such an anomaly. It really
Yeah.
is.
And the whole experience was so much. The game was amazing.
Yeah.
Like it was just. I love the whiteout experience, and to
Yeah.
have you guys there for it just made it even better.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
thumbnail is pretty cool too. So
It is.
I'm tempted to put this in Divine just because of how
Wow.
fun of an experience
Okay.
it was.
Okay. I mean, go.
You're
for
not
it.
gonna feel the same way.
Probably
also,
not,
But
yeah.
I don't remember doing too much of it.
Yeah.
Because-
yeah.
Gonna
Well,
be
you can see
honest.
at the end he starts
Yeah,
slurring
yeah.
stuff, but
We'll say chamois worthy.
okay.
I think
okay.
that's fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really enjoy doing it.
Okay, Kai Krog. I mean, this was a guy that stole the show. I think in that, in that episode with all the other guys. And I think again, when you're by yourself, it's hard to kind of feed if you don't have people to feed off of. So again, definitely not as funny, but he's got what it takes. I think.
Yeah, he's great. I mean, he just definitely deserved his own episode, and I'm glad that we got it done. But yeah, it's just it wasn't the same dynamic.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say it left a lot to be desired, but I think that I could have done a better job.
Okay.
I don't know. I think I was really busy that day. Like I had
Sure.
so much shit going on. I'm trying to
Sure.
cram a Shannon show
Yeah.
in there, and it's
Yeah.
a great example of why I have to stop doing the
Yeah.
podcast because like sometimes I just do not have time to be recording an episode.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think I could have done a better job. Episode 94, I still can't figure it out.
Yeah.
But no shot at Kai. He looks right in the thumbnail, real cutie pie. I'll just call it good stuff.
Good
That's
stuff.
fair?
Let's do it. That's fair. Okay, 95.
Take it away.
I think we
watched this one.
Oh yeah, I watched this whole
Yeah.
thing. Again, this is we've been saying niche over and over and over again,
Yeah.
but this is very much just looking back on lore of stuff that most people don't even know, right? So the average military kid viewer that's seen this is just going to skip over it. But again, as someone who was a part of it, some really fun stuff. You had drunk Kai Grubbs again. Coming. We didn't even talk about him in the old chamois. So again, George, I think this was the true evolution. Actually, I mean, and again, he showed up too later. This is the true evolution of him. I think he is one of the best at just being able.
This is his trilogy.
This is his trilogy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just incredible. The way he's just able to come up with stuff in the freaking cookout parking lot. You know what I'm saying? I love this one. I think it's Shammy worthy at least.
Yeah, I mean, if you said Divine, I would have gone that far. But Shammy worthy is probably the right way to go.
Yeah.
I love the old school. I did a throwback episodes. I had all the old graphics on there, which kind of took me back. He always brings. He's always prepared. It feels like he's winging it, but sometimes I think you were ready for this.
Yeah,
you know it was coming.
Yeah,
and he has great energy, has a great vibe. I feel like he's fun to listen to. He's fun to have a conversation with. He's really captivating for an audience. So yeah, love George and everything he's done and contributed to the pod so far.
Shammy worthy. Okay, 96, Yannick and Mateo. These guys were Kubi guys that were below us, right?
Yes.
One grade below us.
This was, I'll call this, it was very Connor and Martin vibes to me.
Yeah.
I thought it was very similar to that.
I would agree that, These two guys, they knew of each other?
Yes.
Were they pretty
No, they
close?
were pretty tight. They knew of me.
They knew of you.
Yeah.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah, so Yannick asked to come on the show, and then I was like, yeah, absolutely. And what do you want to bring with? He's like, yeah, my buddy Mateo. Once again, I didn't know them, but it turned into a really great show.
It did. That's
and anytime
cool.
you're just
hour and a half, I mean, that's
reminiscing about Kubi. Yeah, it turned into great. It really, like, this is right there with Connor and Martin to me. It was very similar vibes.
Yeah.
And, whether it's good stuff, I think good stuff is probably fair, but it's upper end good stuff in my book.
Now, if we were doing what we did last time and going top 10, this might surprise you. This is my favorite episode.
That is your favorite episode of all time.
Of all time.
Well, I'm glad
that
it was this late in the game.
I mean, and again, there's so many things that come into this, but
I'm sorry, I just love Grace in the middle.
Yeah, just staring, and you got Garrett over there. I mean, this is just, again, the true evolution of what was an awesome concept, right? That wasn't truly realized the first time. Second time, again, you added different elements, but again, there were some misses here and there. But this is just, I mean, the way it flows, again, I don't know, I mean, your production quality, it seemed like it was literally after each other. Yeah. And that was what was so amazing. Each one, I watched all of it because each person was just so engaging. It was so cool. Everyone was just excited to be there. Barracks Bunny Bachelorette, one of the funniest intros I've seen. And just such an awesome, I mean, even here at the end, you could have easily been burned out. But you gave it your all for that last one.
It's
and I think it's a phenomenal conclusion.
I like looking at all their faces on there. It is the culmination of everything. Yeah. Like there's so many people. If you showed me that thumbnail, episode 1, I don't know half those people. Yeah. And that's crazy.
Like, how am I gonna
like Jenna, Matthew, Elena, all on there. Like Insane Dana is
for sure. You would know what, like 3-4 people.
Yeah, exactly. Which is crazy to think about. Because at the beginning I was only interviewing my friends. Now I have all these different people on there. Kate, even Ryan from Penn State. I don't even really know him like that. So it's really crazy to see how that came together. And I love the thumbnail too. It's really funny.
Can't be that's easy divine. That is the divine of the divine. Personal opinion.
No, I can totally see that.
Yeah.
My 7, and then 98 is actually Late Night on Cherry Lane.
That's right. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So, go take it away on that one.
Yes, Late Night on Cherry Lane. It's obviously not a military kids podcast, but it was the next kind of evolution for me because now I'm talking to like my newer friends. Like I'm at college. Like I have my new friend group, and we were able to take something that I had worked on, basically 100 episodes deep on, and kind of add our own twist to it. Yeah. And it was in person. It was literally in the Cherry Lane kitchen, and just to showcase their personalities was really fun because we have a lot of like stupid conversations, just like so many of my high school friends do. Yeah. So, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed Late Night on Cherry Lane. A lot of goofy stuff in there. So I'd call it Shammy worthy.
Okay, go for it.
I would.
Go for it. Okay.
That's 98.
Okay.
And then
here we go. The penultimate.
Is this the pinnacle? I mean, obviously you think the Shammy
I personally
is the
do.
culmination.
But
in terms of like banger guest, and Laura and the bringing back of Sammy.
Yeah, I can see that.
There's a lot riding.
Again, one of the ones where you tell us in the beginning, we got Erica Wooten on the Shanon show.
Yeah.
What is going on here? Again, there were other teachers that I would have loved to see on there. Unfortunately, guys like Tour and Coy Milanovic, I will never be able to see. So the fact that she was like, you know what? I see what's going on. I see the shenanigans. I'm still going to be a part of it.
She was all in, and that's that means so much to me. Like you see, we talked to her for almost an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And when I told Sammy that, because Sammy hadn't really been on the pod since my trial, and I was like, I think I got Erica, and he's like, I'm in.
That's all it took.
That changes the game, man.
That's all it took,
and it was really cool. And the amount of attention she gave us, and she was just really genuine, and she was sharing her teaching experiences, but also reflecting back on our class and our generation, and giving some really good insight. That's for any aspiring Dodea teachers, that's a great one to listen to. And you have Sam sprinkling in his comedy,
his
own
input.
It's just their two personalities. How he thought he had a crush on her, he did, and then it's just the culmination of that romance, I guess. Yeah. Which is awful to say out loud about a teacher and a student, but
there's not too many better ways to finish off the normal kind of Shan show episode than that. That picks all the blocks right there.
And Sammy's deserving to be in that. And Miss Erica, what more could he say?
Yeah.
She's a legend to us.
You got Divine then?
Divine, wrapping up 99.
You want to take a break before you do this epilogue?
I don't even know what to say, dude. I'm exhausted.
Yeah, I'm
exhausted.
I know.
Dude, I can just crank it out.
Okay.
What are you talking about? All right,
Go
man.
for it.
So we just tier listed every single episode after the Shanon show.
Oh my God.
We were talking about doing that for a long time. We were talking about doing the hot ones for a long time. So in a sense, this episode, man, we did the things that we always wanted to do.
Yeah.
In terms of things that I think that were still left on the table, which is unfortunate. I always want to have Kristen Armstrong on the show. I always wanted to have Mr. M on the show. I always wanted to have Mr. Coy on the show. Yeah. And those are three that I'll never get over. Yeah. But that's just how it is. I put my all into it. Triple digits, man. Yeah. And see, we have a lot of bangers on here.
I think if you see the amount of hours of your life that you put into this,
it would be disgusting.
Yeah,
man. I am just so thankful that we were able to do this, these 100 episodes, and continue making content for all of you guys. It's the Shans, man. It really is. You're the reason why we kept on doing this, and the lack of you is the reason why we're going to stop doing this.
That's crazy. That's how you're going to end it. That's insane. But you're going to keep pumping out the memes, right? That's what's going to keep coming.
Pumping out the memes. And who knows, man? I don't know where my brain's going to take me next. We'll see what's on the horizon. I'm not ruling out absolutely anything. But in terms of the Shan show as we know it, we're going to cut it off. 100 episodes. It's
been an absolute honor. I couldn't think of a better way to end it, man.
Dude.
100 episodes.
100 episodes.
There it is.
Signed, sealed, delivered.
Fuck yeah.